dick discipline, health, and taxes. Those are the 3 things that fuck up any man. Everybody's kind of basically tired of living a normal life. They all want to have the Instagrammable moment.
How the hell did you never get burnt out?
Oh, you do? What do you mean? What are you talking about, bro? I've grinded so hard that I've been hospitalized before. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna run off this plane and go do some shit and hustle. My body's like, you're gonna lie down on the floor now.
Like fitness, dating, money. Those are not games that you play and then you win. These are games you're committed to playing forever. Mr. Madison.
Hey.
You flew in from Thessaloniki?
Yes, and I just learned how to pronunciate that word. I was calling it Thessaloniki and Thelonious all week. People were mad at me. First time there.
You were in Budapest before running programs.
Yeah. I just taking off of a world tour, European tour, like number 7 or something like that, like 8, crazy. Did a European tour of boot camps and programs, and then went to Budapest, went to Thessaloniki because I had a friend over there who I grew up with. Decided to see him. Had some real Greek food. I learned that gyros aren't called gyros; they're called gyros.
Oh yeah, you didn't. I mean, you
didn't know that.
American, you.
Yeah. all my life, my Drake Canadian accent ass has been calling them gyros, but apparently they're called gyros.
Gyros here, please.
Yeah. A souvlaki and a gyros. I didn't know that, and I had real feta cheese for the first time. Real Greek yogurt, different consistency, completely different. Changed my life, bro. It's a really great place. Really great place.
And you came literally from the airport.
Yes.
To the studio here. We're in Prague, by the way, too. I flew from Helsinki.
Yeah. Max did not build a podcast studio in Helsinki, in case everybody's wondering.
I might. Who the hell cares?
This could have happened. This could be where I am.
But it was funny. Yeah. Like, no, I'm not going to do anything else in Prague other than talk to you.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that's why. Wait, I thought you have a program here.
No.
Okay. Wait, what?
I just like Prague. Prague is my soul home. If I was like an Instagram influencer that did yoga, like Bali is their soul home. Yeah. Like as a coach, like Prague is my soul home.
That's so random too, by the way.
Yeah, I just love it. I used to live here like before the virus of unknown
Before I
origin.
used to live there.
Yeah, I want to know why you're not here.
Let's talk about that. By the way, real quick.
Yeah.
I spoke to Alex today.
Alex who?
Alex Treasure. Alex Social.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Back from the dead, man.
How so? Like we guys just randomly just like.
We work together. He joined my program, and we're building he's building some really awesome stuff. Really awesome stuff online, and we're helping.
I see what's going on here. You're getting me back into the cult. I see what's happening here.
Or the cult's getting me back. I don't know. It's like I'm just happy because he's a really cool dude. We've been chatting on and off for the last year or so. Mm-hmm. I've mostly been dissing him on his racing lines that he posted on his Instagram stories. I'm like, bro, you suck at that. He's like, oh, I'm a pro, mate. I'm really fast on the karting. I'm like, yeah, we'll race together. Nice. We haven't raced together yet, but I will kick his ass. Mm-hmm. Let the
record be
the record reflect that I'm gonna kick his ass.
No Diddy.
Yeah. Why don't I live in Prague? So actually, I can't even remember. So we were in Ukraine, in Kiev. Mm-hmm. That I have two of my offices there, plus a lot of my staff. Then the war happened, and we're like, okay, well, let's rebuild our HQ somewhere. So we were just like looking at cities, like what are like similar to Kiev, cool style, fast internet. So we had the choice of Serbia, what is it? Belgrade in Serbia, Prague, or Poland, Warsaw. And that was just the war just started, and Russia was going all crazy with, then we're gonna throw nukes at Poland. So I'm like, maybe I want to have at least one country buffer, So Poland got kicked out basically out of the choices, and then Belgrade, and we were just about to get places in Belgrade, and then there were all these like pro-Russia protests. And I'm like, I have some Ukrainian staff, not all of them, but some people. And I'm like, I don't want those folks to like leave their country only to then live in a different country where everybody's like loving the war. So I'm like, oh, let's do Prague. And then we went to Prague for about a year or so. And I noticed that a lot of my staff, they were super duper happy because we, as a temporary solution, we did everything online. So sales staff completely online, coaching staff completely online. Everybody except for the videographer, who obviously had to be in person with me, they were all online, and they were all super happy. They were all traveling the world, and our delivery got even better because people didn't just show up to the office to freaking be there 9 to 5, but they were actually just like, get your stuff done, and they'll be much more productive at home. And also we came up with some cool online management stuff to make sure that we still know Do they hit their KPIs? Are they showing up? Daily meetings and so on and so forth. So accountability got much better. Productivity got much better. Happier clients and much more money made. So we're like, okay, you don't have to come to Prague. Like, do what you want. And then I lived in Prague for like a couple months. And then now I'm still in Cyprus as one of my home bases. And then my girlfriend. And
You're in Cyprus? Bro, I could have stayed in Greece. We're literally here. You're living on a Greek island. I was like an hour away. We decided to get on airplanes and go like over 1,000 kilometers just in a podcast studio.
I was there, man.
Yeah, I was
like
there
just before you went to Europe, I think. I was in Cyprus.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, whatever, man. I had super cool interviews with Nick Metzger there. Cool dude. But yeah, dude, like how long has it been in person? Where and when was the last time? Was it Miami Summit or Vegas or something?
It might have been Miami Summit. It might have been Miami Summit because I never came to Kiev. I had lots of friends there. I never came to Kiev.
Yeah.
I don't think we met up in Europe after that. It wasn't like we're like on a no speaking term, but you know, whenever somebody leads the company, it's kind of like thou who shall not be named, kind of like Voldemort, you know, for a bit. So
how it felt like, yeah.
we don't speak about that person anymore. Everybody who ever left us betrayed us, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the mafia. So yeah, I think we probably didn't meet up. So it must be like 4.5 years.
Crazy.
Yeah, it must be 4.5. Wow, dude, you look the same.
You too.
Same.
Everybody,
Yeah.
even Alex looked the same. I'm like,
Really?
none of you motherfuckers is aging. Jeffrey still looks the same. Jeffrey's
Really?
like, what, 60 now? I don't know how old I had him on the podcast in Berlin last year, and I'm like, bro, you like none of you motherfuckers ages at all.
Yeah, you know what's weird? I think it's this thing of like going out and socializing with people in clubs and like social places. It keeps you having a youthful energy. You know how to project it. And then I think it's like this weird routine we have of like reishi mushrooms, saunas, and cold plunge actually probably does something for the skin. Believe it or not, it probably does something. Yeah, all the
kombucha and all that jazz. Yeah, dude, it's funny. But you know, it's the lifestyle. Like you predominantly hang out with young people. Like probably all your staff is young. Obviously the women you date are probably younger than you. And the clients that you work with are probably also predominantly your age or younger-ish. You know, so that's probably like the energy thingy. I just have to make sure my watch is like correct.
Go ahead. By the way, should I have the chair turn this way or like this? Like what's for the camera?
It's up to now. Now looks nice.
Okay.
On the camera is amazing.
If I go like this, I can just look
Just
at
be
him.
comfortable, man.
I just want to just look at him, you know?
You just wanna look at him.
Look at him.
I don't even know how do I do the thing here. Okay. So, yeah, dude. So, you're basically a dating / social coach for the folks who don't know. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of RSD fans also watching this, as they did with the first one. By the way, they loved it. They also loved the one with Jeffy. I had Luke on the other day as well. I was on Luke's podcast then as well, and then I'm gonna have Alex on probably as well.
Okay.
So I want to get the crew back, man. I want to get the crew. I want to get Julian as well, and maybe at some point Tyler as well. Which you know, if you never know.
Yeah.
He's like the most unplannable person in the world.
Yes.
But it would be epic, and then it's just gonna be like a 9-hour podcast.
That'd be amazing. I think people would enjoy that. You know, like a lot of those big things we used to do in Miami at the summits, which everybody would fly out to do a panel discussion and be like 6 hours long. You know, like we were the
we would always
original
roast
Avengers.
one guy. Remember, it's like
the audience. Yeah, one guy in the audience to get roasted. We were always like the original Avengers, and that was always fun. And I love doing that. And I think it'd be even cool to do it virtually if we can't do it face to face, just to connect virtually online every once in a while.
100%.
Would be awesome because I think that when there's all of us together in a room, just like a crazy energy that's created and a crazy amount of like information and knowledge that can be shared. It's just dope. I just love it.
Yeah.
You know, I do miss that.
So yeah, like tell us a little bit about what exactly is it that you're working on with your clients. You teach it online and offline both.
Yeah.
You said that you're on a world tour. I mean, I obviously know that, but I just want the listener to know. And then how is the industry right now? How are you liking it? Tell us about it.
Okay, all that. Wow. So I've been doing this for officially, I think, 16 years, studying social dynamics, which means going out to venues that are public places and learning how to interact with strangers, learning how to make a good first impression, have deeper relationships, better conversations, being able to express yourself. And then I started teaching that, or actually working in this industry, I guess, in the marketing department with Mario Tomic and Alex Vicken back in the day.
Wow, I remember, man.
Back like 10 years ago, I was doing that.
They
And
were
so-
the guys who hired me.
They were?
Yeah, they are the guys who made me assistant.
I didn't
Frickin'
know.
Vitkin and Tomic.
Shout out to them.
And I also had Tomic on my podcast.
Nice,
Great
nice,
guy, yeah.
nice. Yeah, he's like married, expecting a kid now and stuff. I
He
think.
has a kid already.
Okay,
Dude, it's
I'm
like
late.
2-year-old daughter or
Oh.
something. Pregnancies don't last that long, bro.
Maybe he was just like releasing the Instagram content slowly. He's like trickling it out, and so I'm like behind it. So I didn't know the timing of it. Yeah, so I got into it, and I was doing that, and then I got into teaching and coaching internationally. I've done 7 world tours right now. That's 125 cities. That's over 735 live events. I've calculated it, and then my trip app tells me it's 1.7 million miles. So it's enough to go to the moon, back, and then halfway back to the moon again. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's insane. In human years, I'm 40 now. In travel, like social years, I'm like 110.
Wait, you're 40?
I am, man. Yeah.
Are you older than Tyler? How old is Tyler?
No, they're like, bro, Jeff's like 46 or 45.
Wait, what? Fuck.
Bro, yeah.
In my head, like,
45.
Owen is like 38.
No, bro. Nah,
I
bro.
was joking when I said Jeff's like 60.
Nah,
he's 4. Okay, how old
He's
is
like, I think
Owen?
he's 45 now, 46.
Fuck, I mean,
46.
you're right.
He's a little older than
Owen
Owen,
was
actually.
like 36 when I started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2015. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
You don't look like 40 year old. You look like 25.
Are you hitting on me right now? Is that,
Yeah,
that was going on?
Something's happening there. Dude, you could be 25.
Oh, yeah, I get that all the time. Yeah, I get that all the
Fuck.
time.
I thought you're like 34. In real, I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, because you would have been the youngest,
Yeah.
technically speaking. So everybody must be older than you by that logic. Yeah.
How old is Julian? Oh, Julian's 1.5 years older than me.
Okay.
Julian's pretty young.
Okay.
Julian's 36, but he must be 36 or something like that, or
Yeah.
34 or something like that.
Okay. So if he's 1.5 years older, then everybody else must be 40.
Yeah,
Or more.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy shit. That's the crazy thing too. 7 world tours.
Yeah.
I always brag about my 4 world tours.
Uh-huh.
That almost killed me.
Yeah.
I literally best and worst times of my life at the same time.
Totally understand.
And you did 7. I mean, of course, you just kept doing it. You know?
Yeah, I
Crazy
think
shit.
there's a sacrifice that must be made also when you go into anything that hardcore. Like I can relate to Justin Bieber, to like Tony Robbins or any of those guys that do international touring. I can relate to it. There's a sacrifice you make when it comes to like having a dog, like just like a basic thing, like having a dog, having one gym that has like a squat rack that you go to consistently. Like I was like, man, I'd love to be able to like track my PRs properly. But now it's like I'm at this gym and they only have kilograms. And this gym only has pounds, and like your macros like just go to shit. But I want to really just get settled up in a solid place this year, and that's why I'm going to work on like more social circle stuff.
Yeah,
that's my intention of it, to really work on that. I've done it in my life. I want to like establish it, and I want to like coach more of that, because I think also the day of like just teaching people just basic social skills is equally as important, but they don't know how badly they need it.
Yeah.
I was on a program this weekend and there was this kid who's like, we're like, tell him, like you're in a club and the reggae song comes on and you start like trying to grind. And he's like, what do you mean? And we're explaining this to him, and we realize this kid is like 23, and he's never been to a club that like and danced, or like never been to a club and like bought a girl a drink.
Yeah.
And we realize this generation is on TikTok. Like they don't do that. Like I slid into DMs, but I didn't like try to grind up behind some stranger at a club after talking and buying them a drink. So while the basic social skills are needed more than ever, people are intimidated by it, and they're not going the route of learning social skills. So they're saying, how could I do it quicker? How could I do it easier? How can I develop a social life with less work? And the answer to that is still develop some charisma and charm in person, but learn how to create a social network. And that's going to help to make you happy. Because I also say, like, what was it? 30% of all guys don't have any close friends. I saw that on CNN the other day. That's wild. So it's the whole everything together. It's the whole harmonious ecosystem of social life, not just like saying hi to a stranger. It's gonna be everything moving forward.
Crazy, man. I mean, I remember it was already like when I coached it from 2012, 13-ish to 2018, 2019, like even in that 6-7 year range, I noticed it got worse progressively every year. Like guys became more awkward, weirder, and you just had to go more and more basic every single year. One question I wanted to ask you is like, why are you? What was the? Because you're making online money as well. You sell a lot of digital products. You sell mentoring online, so on and so forth. Why still touring?
Yeah, touring keeps you sharp. Touring keeps your ear to the ground. Touring is like like the entrepreneur who owns a business. And like he goes and like picks up the phone and does customer service every once in a while,
yeah,
because he knows what the clients are really saying. If you do touring and you work with people face to face, your information and knowledge that you have is like super sharp, and you know what's actually happening. You get first eyes on the problem of social like dynamics because you're front line.
Yeah.
So touring keeps you sharp, and also I just kind of like it's an excuse to like tour and like see the world and have fun. It's an excuse to do that. But you know, the older you get, the more it takes a toll on you. And you realize that your values just change.
Yeah.
My values used to be like, let's just go to like the best place and just like party to 6 a.m. Let's just do it in like Zurich until the sun comes up.
Yeah.
You know? But like I've done everything I possibly wanted to do. I've been to like 7 of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. I've taken my mother to like have a cafe at the top of the Eiffel Tower. I've like been to the Great Wall of China. I've meditated in the pyramids in Egypt. Like there's literally nothing else.
Yeah, fuck.
Dude, so much stuff.
I did none of that.
Yeah. You had an ayahuasca trip a few years ago.
I did that too, yeah. Oh, there's a reminder. I gotta tell my girlfriend to water my plants.
Okay. And that you love her.
Yeah, she know that.
Yeah,
she know that, but
that
she
part
does
she
not
knows,
know
but
to
she
water the
doesn't-
plants.
yeah.
Those plants are dead. I'll tell you, man. What was I? Okay, so you saw the Great Wall of China. I've never been to China. Damn it.
Really?
Yeah, I did programs in Seoul.
Yeah.
In South Korea. I've been to Japan last year.
That's right. You did it in Seoul because there's a bunch of guys out there.
It's only white guys.
No, there
Only
was a bunch
white
of guys that had like a dating company.
That also.
And you hung out with them.
That also.
And I won't say what happened, but they said they took you to eat some pigs from Jeju Island or something like that. It was like
Wait,
some
no,
island.
some way funnier stuff.
Okay,
And some
yeah.
way weirder stuff I cannot talk about.
I was trying to jump over that story, but yes, I recall.
I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna give you this much information. The rest I'll tell you off the thing. Korean karaoke
Yeah.
is not what you think it is. It's not like regular karaoke. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yes.
So, and I had no idea.
Right.
It kept escalating. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what's going
Yeah,
on?
it's just not karaoke.
And the funny thing was, it was one of the craziest experiences of my life. And my videographer Blaž, I was there with 2 videographers, right? And we were all invited for that because that Korean dating company, they were huge fans of ours. First of all, he gave me a fake Rolex as a gift. This is a fake Rolex, best of fake ever. Nobody will know. And it's apparently was still an expense, like a couple $100 or something.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And back then I had zero idea about what Rolexes actually are. So I'm like, this is great. Like I'll just wear this the whole time. I loved it. Until like one guy's like instantly like 2 years later is like, why are you wearing a fake Rolex? And I'm like, I thought nobody would know, you know? And I think I still have that fake Rolex lying around somewhere. Obviously, I haven't worn it ever since. And anyways, and then they invited all of us for Korean karaoke. And one of my videographers, he's like, oh no, I'm not going to come because Slovenia, he's Slovenian, they're playing in the Olympic basketball games, so I'm going to watch that. And I'm like, you sure? Like, you can watch the replay, you know? It's like, no, it's really important. Okay, so we went to Korean karaoke. Craziest night of my life. We come back, and we're like, yo, you have no idea what you missed. And he's like, yeah, I messed up the time schedule. The basketball game is tomorrow. Like, so he even missed it for nothing.
Yo.
It was so funny.
He missed it. And those guys who go to karaoke as well, they're like hardcore about it. It's not like simple. They're ballers. Like, get us one of those. Get us one of those.
Yeah.
Get us everything.
Yeah, we had
Bring it all to us.
The entire table was full of stuff. I had no idea what anything was. It was all a bunch of Korean booze. And then I'm like, I don't drink. Right, so I had like a drink and I instantly felt it, and then I had to like act like I'm drinking the booze because I didn't want to be disrespectful, and I just kept drinking like black tea. It looked like whiskey or something like that. I'm like, yeah, and those guys just got fucked up. And I had was one translator because they spoke zero English. So I don't even know how they were fans of ours because they spoke no English. So we had this like one translator guy there the entire time. And he just had to like translate the whole time.
That's
and it
his
was
job.
funny.
You get a karaoke.
Yeah.
Translate a karaoke. That's wild.
And I was like, yo, like, hey, if you want to have some drinks, like, you have fun, you feel free to join us. He's like, no, only translating. He took it very seriously.
He's like super serious, like a Secret Service guy working for like the president. He's like, no, doesn't look anywhere. No, thank you. No booze. Just translates. He's here for the job.
That's how it was, man. But yeah, dude. So you're doing the online and the offline stuff and the traveling. How the hell did you never get burnt out?
Oh, you do? What do you mean? What are you talking about, bro? How do you mean? I think I was. That's a really good question. Because you definitely get burnt out, and then you take moments off, and you forget how bad it was.
And then
you go
like,
do
why
it
don't
again.
I go back to touring?
Just go back to doing it. Why was that you do it? You're like, oh yeah. Like I just finished a tour, and I'm like dead. Like I did like 4 or 5 programs, and then I got to go to Warsaw and do like a private private one-on-one just for a little bit.
Sick. All right.
And then I'm like, wow, this is intense. This is intense.
How much does private one-on-one cost for you?
If it's 3 days, it's $20K.
Ooh, yeah.
3 days is $20K. Yeah.
So $20K, people pay you $20K for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
It's pretty chill.
Yeah, exactly. I have a 5-day option, which is bigger. I recommend the 5-day option because the 3 days really isn't enough to like download everything I can possibly tell you. But what I try to do is I try to give everybody like hooks that they can like put information on. Like kind of like how you put like your jacket on a hook for later. It's like, here's the hook. You can put the information on it. You can use this information later. That's the idea of what I try to do and set them up for like a long future for the next 6 months. So they're good for 6 months. They know everything that they need to know, even if they're subconsciously not aware of it. They know it. That's what I try to do. But yeah, you get burnt out, man. You do definitely have to take pauses. And I think the older you get, the less energy you have. Like, I don't know if you feel this way. Probably not, but probably not. But like, I feel like I have like 1, maybe 2 big bursts of energy left, like in my life to do something like incredible.
Come on.
Yeah, dude. Because you don't understand. So let me tell you this. When I was 16, I started my first like company, like going like sweeping floors and like mopping at buildings. That was my first company. Damn. I went to like the apartment complex manager, and I'm like, do you want to clean? Do you have any job for me? She's like, no. I'm like, I'll clean for $20. And she's like, okay, great. When I was a kid, that was a lot. Inflation back then, $20 for like an hour was like the same as like $7 an hour. Yeah. Like, plus inflation, it's crazy. So probably like worth 40 an hour now as a kid. Did that. My other company I had a media company. We used to go and like do promotional videos for openings of clubs and opening of restaurants and like fashion weeks. And that was great, but everybody used to pay us terrible. Like we get paid late, so the cash receivable was never, I'd always be like paying my staff out of my own pocket because I never have the money. And then I just had like several businesses like around, like throughout life. And I feel like they all took an amazing amount of innovation, ingenuity, and energy. I was a music producer. I produced stuff for like Royce the 5'9", who's like one of Eminem's guys before he joined Slaughterhouse on Universal Records. I've done a lot of stuff. And so I'm like, man, I think I might be tired soon. I think I might be tired soon. Like, yeah, like I just, then I was on a radio show for a while.
Oh yeah?
I was on the steering committee, which is the management board of a radio station in Canada. Like, and I used to do marketing at this company. It was called Virgin Radio. That now is part of like, Mix 96, which is now part of Virgin Radio internationally. Dude, I just did so much stuff that I can't imagine me like not having systems in place. Like the sexiest thing to me right now is, I call it, it's going to sound so unimpressive to anybody listening, but I want to be on like the boredom quest.
Okay.
Just be as bored.
I
want to try to live my life so routinely and so structured and so securely that I eventually become bored.
Yeah.
I don't have a moment of boredom at all. I just, like we said, I just hopped off a plane to come here from Greece.
Yeah.
like now I'm in Prague.
Epic, by the way, like
it is amazing.
It's epic.
From Greece to here. So I'm like, let me just try to be bored for a week and see what happens. Let me try to be bored for a month.
Yeah.
I'm on a boredom quest. I'm welcoming boredomness into my life because I have not experienced it in like a decade.
It's crazy that you say like, I want to be bored for a week or for a month. I have that too. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do nothing, then chill. And then I do it for like 3 days. I'm like, fuck, let's go. Let's do some shit. I have ideas. And
your boredom is not going to be the same as everybody else's boredom.
Yeah.
We're going to have a similar boredom. Our boredom is not going to be, let's go to Jamaica, sit at a resort.
Yeah, fuck
and
that.
like just drink margaritas in the sun for 8 hours. Maybe if you have a girlfriend, you'd be happy doing that. We're going to like want to like sneak out the laptop a little bit, check some emails really quick.
Some ideas, quick video.
Exactly. Do a little audio book, maybe like while we're walking around, and then that's like our version of boredom. So it's not the same as everybody else's where it's to be unproductive. You still want to create and be in that element of creating and producing. But I don't think you want to just be bored where you're not doing anything and people are like,
I can't do that.
Call of Duty.
I love creating stuff. I love doing, like, that's all I love. All I want to do forever is just creating stuff. And back in the days, the outlet for that for me was video games, but mostly city builders games. Like anything where I would build a city or build an army. Yeah, shit like that. Or Command and Conquer. You build a base, you build an army. It's always building, and then business became that. It's like, this is just like the video games. I'm building the thing, and instead of like building a police station here and then some like Sim City, right? Same spiel here. It's like, I'm building a police station here, and then I build like housing over there. Instead of that, I'm like, oh, I build a video here and I upload it here, and then it gets points, aka views, and it gets experience points, aka money, and I'm like, oh, now this is like real money. Like, I can do something with these points. I can like buy shit. That's what I was really always into. And funny enough, because you said energy, I cannot go as hard anymore as I used to in my 20s. These like 12, 13, 14. I see your face.
You've never said that. I've never heard you say that, but I'm interested to hear you break that down.
So in my 20s, I would just be like, fuck it, let's just do 16-hour days, 17-hour days, and just do that for 3 months straight. I did that, for example, for The Natural. That was my first online video course, maybe my first million. That was just grind. I can't do that anymore. No way I could grind out for 16 hours. But funny enough, I can grind for maybe 4 hours and I get the same amount of shit done. I'm just much better at focused work. I'm much better at big picture thinking and like, how can I get the same amount of work done with less input from my side? 20-year-old Max would be, how can I get this work done? Go! And just start, like, head through the wall, start grinding. 33-year-old Max is like, how can I get this work done in a smart way? Who can I pay to do that? How much can I pay them? How much profit margins would I have? When I want to do this, I would have this much spare time to do the other thing. And then overall, I get much more done with much less input on my side. So I kind of like use less of my time. I use more of my money. Let money work for me. Let money be used as leverage, so to speak. And plus, like, my work ethic itself is much more highly focused. Mm-hmm. So I know, like, it just takes me a much shorter time to do things. Like The Natural, it took me 3 years to create, from the writing from the ideation to writing process to creating all the marketing campaigns to the launch to the post launch and so on and so forth. Fearless took me 1 year. Mm-hmm. Fearless was my second $1 million program. Then Girlfriend Game took me like half a year. Then my first online mentoring program, which made me then $3 to $5 million a year, we built this in like a week. It's like, oh, we're going to do this. Marketing's going to be this, go. And we just started printing. And it's just because you have much more experience. And funny enough, too, is like I asked my real estate mentor that last year. He lives in Cyprus as well, so I always hang out with him and his wife, and we grab food, and I just ask him questions. He's like a 50-something-year-old dude, also looks super young. He made a ton of money in the 90s having his own magazine out of nothing, and then quit it all after like 10 years, went on a world tour sailing, like sailed the world for like 4 years until he got tired of that, and then he went back to work and started doing real estate. And I asked him, because I'm obsessed with getting older in a good way. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm 33. Some people might be watching this. They're like, shut up, dude. 33 is young. But I'm like, in my head, like, once I'm 35, my life is over. And then I look at guys like you, you're 40, you're crushing it. I look at guys like my real estate mentor, he's in his 50s, crushing it. So I asked him, what do you think, looking back to your life, when were you the most productive? Must be in your 20s, maybe 35. And he said, actually, early 40s. And I'll tell you why. Because in my, like, until around 45, he felt zero dip in his energy, but he had all the experience from 20 years of working already, 20 years plus. So as a 20-year-old, you might have more energy, you can grind more, 16 hours a day, but you have zero experience that you can draw back on. He said, like, at 40, he was doing business for super long. He had all the experience. He could be more efficient, more effective, and he still had the energy. And that completely opened my eyes, and I'm like, okay, so maybe life isn't over at 35.
Yeah, if your barometer of like being successful is how hard you grind, then it would definitely dip off. I've grinded so hard that I've been hospitalized before. Like once I grinded so hard, I was on an airplane. I just couldn't breathe. It just like heart palpitation.
No.
Yeah, they had to take me up on a stretcher one time on a wheelchair.
When was that?
This is probably my third tour.
So it was tour. On world tour?
On tour.
I never knew.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it, but I was like in Chicago or something like that, and like I was like, ugh. My body was like, I'm grinding. My body was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. Your body's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna run off this plane and go do some shit and hustle. My body's like, you're gonna lie down on the floor now. And I was like, no, you're not. My body's like, good night.
Walk me through it. So you're sitting. You walk me through how it happens. So you're sitting in your seat.
Yeah, it's
flying to or from Chicago.
Yeah, going somewhere. I think about to get off the plane. All of a sudden, I can't breathe. I'm like, that's not important. Breathing's not that. Breathing's not that necessary. I've been in situations where I wasn't breathing before. Anyways, we're gonna push through. That's what we do. We dominate air. And then I get off I try to walk, and I just collapse. And then I think my heart just irregularly beats, and I'm not breathing very well. I'm conscious the whole time, and I'm like, stupid body, get up, don't be a bitch. This is not what we're in the game for. Listen, I'm gonna do this with or without you, body. And my body's like, no, you're not. Yeah, like the scene from Wolf of Wall Street where the guy he's all coked up, getting up the Lamborghini.
When you got the Quaaludes are kicking in.
It's like that. Just thinking I'm just gonna crawl by.
The voice messages.
Bro, it was quite a scene.
And then they called help. Was there call a doctor? Some stewardess.
It's like international international airport medical, which is different than regular medical, you know, because they can cross the borders. Oh, so then they come with the little wood and sir, we're gonna take you to the hospital. I'm like, no, you're not. I got stuff I gotta do. I got plans. I got a schedule. I'm executing. This is not in there. You know what I mean? And I think they just put me to they brought some machine, an EKG, but with different electrodes, 40 of them that stuck into my chest and monitored me for hours, and I couldn't leave, and it was just really annoying. And they're like, sir, do you need some help? I'm like, no, I'm gonna get my luggage and I'm gonna go somewhere. Got up out the wheelchair, fell down.
Oh no way.
Yeah, because your body's like, this is it. We're done. Because you learn how to push past zero so often.
Yeah. You
learn how to go when there's nothing in the tank so often. You're like, oh, this is just when there's nothing in the tank. But this time your body's like, this isn't happening. So it's just it makes a decision for you, and you're out of control of the decision. So this has really changed my mindset, because I think health is really number one, and then it's productivity, because without health you can't have success. And when you're very successful and you don't have any health, you wish you had your health.
Yeah.
Nobody in their deathbed is like, I wish I had another 100,000 in the bank, or another 10 in the bank, or whatever.
I'm sure there's one guy.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck this.
Fuck my kids, fuck my family. They don't deserve anything. They're not gonna inherit anything. They're lazy anyways. Yeah, my ex-wife.
Should have grinded
There's one guy that's like that, and he exudes that emotion. But for the majority of us, we'll probably say to ourselves, hey, I wish I had an extra 10 years, or 5 years of life, or whatever, So I just try to enjoy that. I have a friend of mine, he's in Israel, and he owns 3 or 4 companies. And this guy, he's young kid, he's 26. He owns part of a nightclub, owns a Segway company, owns a developing company, he owns a competitor to WeWork, office rental. You've never met him, oddly enough. You never met him. But this guy, I asked him, what do you do with all this money? What's the only reason that you make millions for? And he said, for relationships. I just want to spend money with people that I love. And I was like, that's kind of weird. At first in my mind, I'm like, why would you do that? But then the older I got, even though I'm his senior, the older I got, the more I appreciate that sentiment, because it's once you've done everything, you've worked really hard, if you have no one to share it with, you're just it's numbers on the scoreboard, you're keeping count, but who do you have to share it with? Nobody. I've been in, I've been to amazing places. I've been to 7 of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. The first 5 I went alone. The 6th one I'm sitting there eating by myself, and I'm like, this kind of sucks to eat alone. It's the service is great, the food is amazing, but you don't have the right people there to share it with, it's useless. So health first, relationship second, and then I put the financial part third. But if you're younger, somebody's younger, they can definitely put the finances first and put the health second, because they can afford to do it at that time in life. But for me, I just hustled so hard for so long, my body just was like, nope, we're done, good nights. And that was the experience that really changed me.
What did you do after that? Did you recover? Did you took some times? Where were you? Were you in Chicago?
I was
or out of Chicago.
Yeah, I was somewhere. I think I was getting off a plane to go to Chicago. I think I literally just blacked out, so I don't remember what city I went to afterwards. Right? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
we were in so many cities before, but I remember that I just had a priority shift, because I would do things like go to a city and not go to the gym. I'm like, I'll skip the gym and I'll just work because I can do it. But there's a sacrifice that the bill always comes due. There's a sacrifice that's always paid. I've realized, like, if you don't do the boring thing, like I was talking about boring things before, if you don't do the boring thing, you pay the price. So the boring thing is like eating a salad. Not that cool. No one's gonna, like, if you, when the waiter comes, you're like, could you like take this out and take that out and just like make it more of a salad? The waiter's gonna be annoyed. They're gonna go check with the chef and say, I'll see, and make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
And then that's the boring thing, but it's important to do. Another boring important thing to do is like paying taxes. Another boring important thing to do is like not getting in fights with random women.
Yep.
Another boring important thing is like drinking enough water, getting 8 hours of sleep, or sleeping with an eye mask, or like all these things are eventually like the downfall of every great successful man is those things. It's like the downfall of every great, this clip it. The downfall of every great successful man is 3 things: not having dick discipline, not paying taxes, and some sort of like not health thing, some sort of health thing.
Yeah.
That's a downfall of every great guy, especially when I look around like the black community in America. Every guy's like a millionaire, a billionaire. Every single one of them goes down from like dick discipline or like not paying taxes. It's like Diddy,
Wesley
Jonathan
Snipes.
Majors, Wesley Snipes, Sean Kingston last week, like every single rapper, every single athlete. It's like that is the downfall of every man. It doesn't matter how hard he worked, he messes it up over one thing. His whole reputation that took 10 years to build messes up in one day from one of those 3 things.
Yeah, that is so crazy. That's one thing that I see weirdly enough now more and more, that there's like very, very successful entrepreneurs are making a lot of money, but they have no idea about social dynamics. So they wife up or girlfriend up with a bipolar crazy person, and they just fuck it all up. It's so funny. When I was hanging out with my CMO, Robin Bauman, he's been on the podcast as well. So he works with a lot of 7- and 8-figure companies. He runs their ads. And he's like, he was visiting in Austria with his girlfriend, and I was there with my girlfriend. And he's like, that like you and your girlfriend are like the only normal people that I've ever met in a long time. Something like that, because he said he met a guy also. I don't think he worked with him, but he met him, and he's like, this guy is super duper smart, and he's crushing it. He's making all this money, and his girlfriend is like the most toxic person ever, and she's just like literally actively sabotaging him. She's trying to talk down on him. She's trying to belittle him. Now, imagine what kind of energy this guy has to come up with on a daily basis just to operate an 8-figure business, and imagine what he could be doing if his woman, his life partner, would be non-toxic, supportive, like really great, and just not a bipolar crazy person. And that's a lot of times what business owners do, because they don't understand social dynamics. They were like some nerd in their 20s. They were building an awesome business, never going out, never really getting a hold of this dating skill, which is what you're teaching. And now all of a sudden in their 30s, 35, they're making $20 million a year, even if it's just $2 million a year, right? So now they're attracting, now they have the lifestyle, right? So now they're starting to go out, they rent a table, they go to partying in Mykonos or whatever, and now they find a really, really attractive girl who they never had. So they never had these kind of girls. So he's completely falling into the honeypot. And this girl knows this is some simpy chode. I'm way out of his league, looks wise, but he's got a massive business. He's massively successful, so let's go. And what is she going to do? She's trying to bind that guy via manipulation. Just like a guy who has to lie and use dirty pickup lines just to attract a girl instead of being himself. He needs to manipulate in order to create attraction. Same goes for women out there that might be very, very beautiful, but they have nothing going beyond their beauty. They're not nice and supportive. They're highly insecure. So what are they going to use to bind the cool, successful guy? Well, their fucking toxicity. So they're going to manipulate that guy. They're going to shame him. They're going to try to beat-eyes him and all that jazz so they could then tie that guy down. I mean, it probably even goes as far as like stopping birth control, making sure she gets the baby from the guy, because now she's covered. And this is a real problem. There's so many men out there. I remember when I was still a dating coach, and you can probably know this as well, so many guys out there that just knocked up a girl that they didn't want to become a family father with, and now they have all this responsibility. And that is a real problem. Like, I don't want to sound sexist, because I'm not. But at the same time, there are a lot of men that get fucked over by that because they don't know how to protect themselves, because they don't know the social circles, they don't know the social skills, they don't know how to read the red flags even when they're there, and they're just lonely and insecure, so they're just gonna let everything happen, and that is, like you said, eventually their downfall.
Yo, let's go deep. Should we go deep for a second?
Yeah, let's go deep. Please, let's do it.
So your editor, clip this. To anybody who's watching this as one of Max's 7-figure clients, hit me up. I'll put you on game.
Yeah, 100%.
This is
Check him,
what I've
DM
realized.
him. Let's do it.
DM me. This is what it is. All right. The thing is, these guys will eventually try to pursue a woman that they could not get when they were younger, when they did not have the lifestyle or the money. The problem is, it attracts a woman that is interested in the opportunity. We'd agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a woman that's interested in the opportunity, let's think about that. She's probably maybe had a BBL. She's probably had a tummy tuck. She's probably had some augmentations.
What's a BBL?
A Brazilian butt lift.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like an operation to get to make the booty juicy.
Oh,
yeah.
What was that, silicone or what is it?
It's just like fat, taking the fat from the stomach, putting it in the butt.
Oh, no.
All the Instagram models that you see have this, okay? All of them
I
have
thought
it.
they're just fit. God damn it.
No.
I thought you're just disciplined doing squats.
You've been fooled. You've been marketed to, Shazammed, scammed. So they have these like BBLs. They have like the tummies that are like redone. They have like the boobs that are augmented. They maybe got some Botox, right? So let's say perhaps a woman puts in like, $5K to get a BBL. That's Brazilian butt lift. Maybe $5,000 to like get her tummy done. Maybe $10K at least for her boobs. She's already invested $25K, 20K, 25K. Plus the other stuff, the makeup, the clothing, whatever, to create that image of her, for her to be a high value product. She essentially is monetizing herself. So she has to monetize herself. She's made the investment into her body to appear that way. She then seeks a return on that investment. Think about it, bro. It's like going to like a studio here. You buy a camera, buy equipment. Like, I got to start charging because I got to make money on this.
Yeah.
That's what happens to a woman who's invested in themselves. But the guy that now has created that lifestyle, he now wants a return. He now has a lifestyle. He wants that woman, and she's thinking, I got to get a return on it. It can't work. It cannot work. It's destined to fail. It's destined to fail. And also those guys that have the money, they're going to lead with the opportunity, right? They're going to lead, hey, I got this lifestyle. I go to Mykonos. I travel around. I got this fancy car. Could be a rental. Doesn't really matter. I got an investment property here. I got this business. I got a not just the date just Rolex. I got the better Rolex. I got the Omega.
Not the entry level Rolex.
I got like the presidential or something. I got the Omega. The problem with this is, she will never respect you because she knows that you're leading with your money. She knows that you want her because she's augmented, because she looks beautiful. So she can't respect you either. And he never respects the woman because he knows the woman wants him for his money. And she never respects him because she knows he wouldn't want her unless she was beautiful. It's a complete mindfuck at the end of the day. There's a client product fit there, but both the client and both the product don't respect each other.
Yeah.
Because if either of them didn't have that, they wouldn't be there. That's the actual truth of it. So it's like an unsolvable equation. Actually, what happens to these really successful guys? They choose the wrong woman, they choose the wrong person, and they don't realize that. And the person they chose is they need to get a monetary return on the investment they made. Like if I asked you right now, like, hey Max, take these 2 glasses that are filled with water and just like surgically implant them into your chest. Just do that. I mean, they're kind of like big. They stick out like 4 inches. Just like surgically implant that into your chest for a decade. You'd be like, no. Like most of us, like I just got braces. Like I was like, you want to put some like braces in my teeth for 3 years? I don't know. Like I'm like that was I could take it out when I want to eat. But I would never put anything in my body. These women are putting things in their body.
Yeah, that's kind of disgusting.
Like implanted. They're like foreign objects implanted in order to secure the high value man.
Yeah.
So of course she's gonna be a little bit sadistic. I wouldn't like that. Or not to say it's everybody, but generalizations are there for a reason, because if you look at the general stats of it, how's it usually going to go? What's the usual pattern of human behavior? You can generalize these things.
Yeah.
You can generalize it.
And how to protect yourself like that as a guy, understand social dynamics, learn dating, get into a state of abundance. And I know for me it was kind of easy because understanding dating was part of my business. So at least I got 2 rocks with 1 stone, so to speak. So when I would go out and meet women, I would also like hone the skill that I would then coach. So I would actively make money through that, basically. So I know for some people it's more like an either or situation. Like, oh, I run a software business, and if I now go out talk to girls, like I could run a business instead of make more money. But it's important investment into yourself, because you need to understand what women are out there that are actually in love with me, that want me for who I am, and vice versa for women as well. Like, if you want to get Botox in your lips because it makes you feel better, do it by all means. But also make sure that your man loves you the way you look in the morning. Like when you wake up in the morning and your man honestly still finds you attractive, like that's kind of what you want. It's that idea of like, just like you said, the man dates the woman only because of her looks. The woman dates only the man because of what he represents in the social hierarchy. It's just superficial bullshit. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you want to wake up next to your woman, next to your man, in maybe not a 5-star hotel, maybe just at home, maybe not in a villa, but just in an apartment in the city, and you want to be happy. And that's, if you can't do that, then don't fucking get in a relationship with that person. I'm not even saying you shouldn't meet these people. Like, hell, if you want to be in a superficial relationship for a weekend or a week or a trip or a month, fine, do it, but then don't commit long term, because it's not going to work. It's only going to go down. And that's what you teach. Like, that's why I think it's so important that there's dating coaches out there in the world. We've had many dating coaches here on this podcast, many friends of mine, many clients of mine that we felt. And it's such a badly connotated job. Like, oh, so you're teaching guys how to get girls. What pickup lines do you teach? Like, I know so many dating coaches that are like, oh, I can't tell any girl I'm on a date with what I do. It's like the secret day and night life. It's like Batman at night, Bruce Wayne during the day. But in reality, it's like, without you guys, the world would be much, 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 much worse. It's so important to learn this as a guy, more important than ever, and it becomes more important.
Yeah, like I said, man, three downfalls. Taxes, health, discipline. If you're dick disciplined, if your relationships aren't on point, it will be the downfall.
Yeah.
Didn't Dr. Dre lose like half of $400 million? Isn't like Diddy going through some like huge thing? He's rated by the IRS now. Like
what's his name? Jeff Bezos, most expensive divorce in the world.
Right. It's like you literally could not have worked half of your life if you just choose the wrong woman one day.
Yeah.
That's like, and you know, there's a lot of guys who are like, oh, just don't pursue women at all. Just go monk mode. I think that serves a purpose, but I don't think monk. You can jump into that. I think monk mode and this like red pill stuff, it's great for a period of time in your life. But to say that you're not going to interact with women is you shutting off a whole part of your life, shutting off a whole part of your DNA, your legacy if you want to have children. It's shutting off a whole natural purpose for you. It's like I'm scared of it, so I'm just not going to take action. And I think that's kind of like a loser mentality to be like, it scares me, I'm just not going to do it. Checking out of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think checking out of any game is winning.
Yeah.
That's pretty
exactly.
much leaving the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like rage quitting.
Yes.
It's like you're playing an online video game. I play a lot of Gran Turismo now. Love that game to death. I bought a little racing simulator.
Saw the movie?
Oh yeah, love the movie. And it's based on true story too, which is really, really sick. So I bought the racing simulator thing, like the chair, the pedals. I got the upgraded pedals, the something, I can't remember the name. I got the steering wheel with the gear shifters on the steering wheel. And I've just been grinding. It's so epic. And I'm like, in the beginning, I just ate shit. Just became dead last every single time. And now I got P2, P4, P10. Like, I'm like legit getting better. There's a learning curve there. And it's exactly the same there. Like, sometimes you're in the first corner. You're like in fourth or fifth. You're battling with the guys around you. And somebody hits your tail end and just pushes you off the track. And now all the other cars go by you and you're last. You were fighting for third or fourth. And within a split second, you're last. And then not going to the menu and quitting, being like, fuck this, I'm not going to drive the rest of the race out of last. That costs discipline to not just quit and give up, but say, you know what, fuck it. I might be last, but I'm still going to finish the race. I'm going to use it to get better. And that's metaphorically speaking exactly the same. Like most guys, like you're going to suck at this as a guy. Unless you're blessed with naturally good genetics or naturally very outgoing personality, like I see some guys. But ultimately, if you're an average guy like me or like you, you're probably going to suck at the beginning. So you're basically the equivalent of just having been pushed off the road and you're now in dead last. Keep going. Sometimes you're going to end up last too, but sometimes there's like fighting in front of you. Some of the other cars go off the track and you end up still top 10. Sometimes you can even fucking win. I mean, there's been a great example of Sergio Perez. I think 2020, he was dead last after lap 1. He was fighting. This is a real life story. I think it was the second to last race of that season or something in Qatar, and he was pushed off the track in the first lap, first corner, and was dead last. And he ended up fucking winning this race. And here's the crazy thing. So go full on Formula 1 style, all right? So full on Formula 1 nerding out here. He had just gotten booted off his team. He just got kicked out of his team, even though he was a better driver. Every team has 2 drivers, all right? But his teammate, the other driver, is the son of the team owner. Like little daddy's money. The team owner is not going to kick out his son, even though his son sucks. So he drives the entire season, very, very solid season. And then that team was going to, they bought Sebastian Vettel, which was a 4-time world champion, and they're like, we want this guy to race for us next season, but we only have 2 seats. We're not going to kick the son of the owner out, so we're going to kick out the other guy. Fuck him, even though he had a much better season. So they kick him out, and they kicked him out very late into the season, and he had no other seat available. So imagine you're a Formula 1 racer, and you get kicked out, even though you beat your teammate. You're the better guy, but you're losing against daddy's son. And you got no other options. And this is basically the second to last race of the entire season, and the next season you just have to retire and maybe have a comeback if there's ever a seat open in another team. You try to do your race, you qualify decently, you get tailgated or whatever at the first corner, you're dead last. And really cool, his engineer, they all have these like radios in their ear. His engineer said, don't worry, it's a long race. A lot of things can happen in a long race. And he's like, dude, I'm last, fuck this, right? Boom, he ends up fucking winning. And the car that he drove was not even a win-worthy car. It was like a midfield car. He got the only win in years for that team, and it was his first win ever in his entire career, 10 years plus. So he wins that race, cries on the podium. He's Mexican, Sergio Perez, great guy. Cries on the podium when they played his anthem, his anthem of his country. And Red Bull, the back then second best team on the grid, they were fighting for the championship. They see that and they're like, our second driver sucks. We like that Sergio Perez guy. And boom, he goes from a shitty midfield team that is ungrateful, that kicks him out, to the then next season best team on the grid, and starts winning and fighting for wins and not dicking around the midfield. And that's a beautiful metaphor if you think about it. You never know, man. Like, your entire life can change by just making a single decision of, you know what? I'm dead last right now, but a lot of things can happen over the course of a race. A lot of things can happen over the course of a month, a year, 10 years. If I'm grinding it out, sure, I'm paying attention to my health, my mentality, my family, but I'm working on this goal. I'm just going to fucking do it. I don't care if I grew up poor. I don't care if I have it harder than the other guy. I don't care if I'm short or worse looking than most of the other guys. I don't care. This is the card I'm dealt with. I got pushed off the track in the first corner. Fuck it. It's a long race. A lot can happen. If you do that, a lot of things can happen. Or not. And you know what? If a lot of good things don't happen and you still suck, you're still last at the end of the day, at least you can look yourself in the mirror and you can tell yourself, I tried. I did everything in my power. Didn't work. Fuck it. But at least I don't have to wonder what would have happened if I had done it.
Mm-hmm. You think that's do you think that's luck?
What's luck?
That's what I'm asking you. What's luck?
Success
luck?
In general?
Yeah, like the success in general,
fuck
situation
that.
like that.
Nah, fuck that. It's like how would I compare it? It's like luck is an extra bonus that you can hit. Like when you're playing Diablo or any sort of like game where the monsters drop loot. The loot system is also based on luck. There's like a 1% chance the monster drops the armor, the famous armor, right? So yeah, maybe you get the famous armor after hitting the monster once. Maybe you get it after 1,000 times, but eventually you get it, and that's what really counts. I don't care. Look, it's a forever game. Mario Tomic, shout out. He said this once. He's like, fitness, dating, money. Those are not games that you play and then you win. These are games you're committed to playing forever. And ultimately, it took me 4 or 5 years to make my first million. It took another guy maybe 4 or 5 fucking days. You know, there's probably some Asian kids somewhere that got it in 5 days. But there's also people that had to grind 20 years to make their first million. What I'm trying to say is it's not a fucking race to the top. It's who gets to stay at the top the most consistently for the longest time and who can do it in a way so they actually enjoy the process getting there. Because I know getting to my first million was in fact so fucking awesome. I loved every single minute of it so much. I was so much on my purpose that by the time I did make my first million, I didn't even notice. I was like, wait, what? What did we just make? Oh, I guess I'm a millionaire now. Anyways, back to the thing that I was doing. So I was enjoying what I was doing so much that the money just became secondary. And that's certainly better than the guy who hates what he does but gets to the million faster, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, it's something to be said about like enduring it for a long period of time. It reminds me of these guys that play like football or NFL. Who was it? Anthony? Oh, some guy just today. Andrew Blackson. I can't remember what his name is. Some guy, huge NFL contract, just declared bankruptcy. He had like the second or fourth largest contract ever in the history of the National Football League.
Fuck.
He just declared bankruptcy today.
What did he blew?
It was like 89 million or something like that. 89 million contract, just declared bankruptcy.
Well, what did he do, man?
I don't know. I didn't read the thing. I was getting on the plane, man, to come here.
Well, let's see.
I think it's Antonio Brown. I think that's the name. Antonio Brown bankruptcy.
How long did it take him though?
I don't know. But
oh wait, hold on. Is he dating Giselle Bündchen?
maybe I don't know.
That's not bad. Can't be that bankrupt.
Giselle was dating Seal. That's a different Giselle.
I thought that was Heidi Klum.
Oh, okay.
I'm confused. Retired NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy Monday. Owes $2.93 million to 8 creditors. What? I want to know what he blew it on. Let's have a look. Similarly, according to U.S. records, which were filed in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court, a Southern District of Florida, Brown, who made more than $80 million in a 12-year NFL career, according to Sport Act, listed his estimated assets as $50,000 or less.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Well, don't watches count as an asset? He's got to have watches more.
If they increase in value and beat inflation, when inflation's like 11 or 12%, it's like really higher now or something, right? I don't know.
The largest claim is a $1.2 million court judgment owed to Anton Tumanov, a moving truck driver who sued Brown, alleging assault and battery related to a January 2020 incident. Brown failed to attend any of the hearings in that case. Other debts in the filing include money owed to three other court judgments. The 8 claims about $3 million. Brown's media company addressed the bankruptcy filing on a post on X. That's how far we are. Now they're posting on Twitter about who owes what. I want to know what he spent it on. Continuous tumult case, multiple violations. Of course, sexual misconduct he's accused of as well. Settled a lawsuit with a former trainer who accused him of sexual assault. Brown also served a 3-game suspension, submitting a fake COVID-19 vaccination card.
Bro, dick discipline, taxes, health. I'm telling you, this is every single successful guy ever in the history of it. Even goes back.
So on point.
Even goes back to guys that had that war over Cleopatra. Like it's always about like those 3 things.
Yeah, Caesar. Who guys? Julius Caesar.
Yeah. So I think if you say guys like being able to like just sustain it, and you don't win at money. That's a clear example. Guys, 80 million, 89 million, or whatever it is, that can't sustain it. And he doesn't win the money game. Now he's like bankrupt. He's like, my assets are 50,000 when I made 80 million. That's like wild.
Sucks.
That's wild. That means that means he didn't even get Rolexes that maintain their value. That's
what I'm saying.
That means he got custom jewelry that was he blinged out the Rolex and it was worth nothing on the reseller market. That's exactly what happened.
That's probably it, man. That's probably it.
So it's like he couldn't sustain the game, and like you said, I think health, wealth, happiness, love are sustainable games. Mm-hmm. You have to play with that in mind. You take a certain amount of risk. You think about how much risk you're willing to take, whether it's 10%, 20% financially or business, or how many naughty people you're willing to date. But you don't take it. You don't move them into your house.
don't do that.
You don't go down that route. You don't like introduce them to the family. You decide how risky you want to play it. And I think that's really, really interesting what you said, man. It's a forever game. I do like that.
Yeah, dude, I have this little notepad on my iPhone. It's just called Value Nuggets. And in there, I just post, like, every time I talk to someone or I see a YouTube video or something, and it's like a valuable one-liner, I just write it down.
That's amazing.
I got I just started like 2 years or 1 year ago or something. And I'm just like, there's so much good stuff. And one of them is this, like, hey, it's a forever game. I probably will put the dick discipline in there as well.
Put the 3 things
in
there. Like, I'm trying to drop some nuggets here in the conversation today.
3 things. DD.
Dick discipline, health, and taxes. Those are the 3 things that fuck up any man.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, this guy had it all. He was killing it. He was on the top of his game. What happened? I don't understand. It doesn't make. If that was me, by the way, for the finances, you can also put gambling in there. It could also be a vice of, like, gambling is the one that usually messes them.
Yeah, but that's
usually
kind of
alcohol.
taxes.
Yeah, it is kind of taxes. Like taxes, gambling.
Yeah.
Usually it's not alcohol. Usually the alcohol destroys family life, but he'll keep his money. That's the trade-off that he makes. You know what I mean? Or like the cocaine, like he's able to keep his, like, money, but ruins his family life. So it's not really that. It's not the one. It's like dick discipline, taxes, or the health thing is really what messes them up. And then, like, they didn't prepare for it. Yeah. But, I asked you that question about the race car driver guy because I've always been thinking about, like, what creates luck. Like, not luck, but what variables you can control to be, like, in a lucky position in life. And, of course, it's like, be prepared. And that helps. Being prepared helps. Being in the right place, the right time. How do you create the right place, the right time? I'll touch on that in a bit. I think about that a lot. And then I think about just, like, of course, lasting in the game long enough, which is what you said. If you last in the game long enough, you'll be able to survive. A buddy of mine told me to reread the book by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel from the PayPal Mafia guys. Peter Thiel has that book 0 to 1. In the book, he talks about being a short-term optimist or a forever optimist. So, for example, a long-term forever optimist is somebody who's, like, thinks about Bitcoin or, like, well, some sort of cryptocurrency, digital currency will progress at some point in the future. This week we have an all-time high. It might go down for a bit.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, it was an all-time high. Yeah.
Ooh, let's go.
And I got you access to your crypto wallet. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, at an all-time high. I don't know if it's today, but like 3 or 4 days ago, we had an all-time high.
Oh, yeah, look at that. 64,000 euros almost. It's a yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So it might go down again, but if you're long-term optimistic, you'll at least stay in the game long enough to be able to win at some point. And that's the point that I was trying to make. Like, you can stay in there, keep playing, and if you can be consistent, you don't lose. Like, most of us crash out. Most of us can't keep playing that long because we fuck it up. We get an STD. We get some kid with a crazy person. We go to jail. We do something so we can't play long enough for our talents and our skills to, like, take over and for us to, like, eventually win. I think that's what usually happens. So I always study this because I'm like, I think I could have, if I could have done the last 10 years differently, I would have just made certain decisions a little bit smarter. I don't think what I need to do is work harder. I think I need to make smarter decisions at certain times. And I didn't make those smart decisions to take advantage of certain opportunities. I think that would have been, like, the way to go. Like, I think one thing that was really smart with you, it was like, I bring this up, but it's a small detail, but it shows a lot. Like, back when all these new apps were starting off, you were, like, the first person on it. You were, like, on Periscope. You were, like, on, it's on Periscope. Periscope, who knows where it is now, but you were on it. There was Snapchat. You were one of the first guys on Snapchat. You were one of the first guys doing a lot of different things. Brandon Carter talks to you. Like, I put Max on Freedom Business Mentoring. He's like, I introduced Max to high ticket sales. At the time, he had, like, wrote a letter to Nick or something like that and said, like, free high ticket sales wasn't a thing. You were talking about it. I remember we were in Vegas. You were talking about high ticket sales. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, why would somebody pay $5K or $10K for something? It didn't register in my own reality of life. But you were always, like, front line on stuff and trying stuff out. Yeah. And I think, in business and life, you can be, like, first to market. You can be just there at the right time. You could, like, fill a void of the market. You can be, like, there's ways to create luck. And I think you were always, maybe even subconsciously, you were always operating in a way that you would be there, that luck would fortune you. And your consistency was always crazy. Your consistency was there, right? So luck is not like, you're always there to collect those 1 out of 100 times when luck comes to you. You're always doing the right thing, being consistent, trying new products, trying new things, being tapped into to people. Like, when you were, like, back in the day, you would say, I play these video games of Minecraft and, you know, I play a blah, blah, blah video game and StarCraft or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, why would you tell the audience that? Like, I don't understand because I don't play it. I can't relate to them. But you were one of the first people that would like relate to your audience. You would show yourself even cooking like steaks and vegetables.
Yeah,
and like that was like your daily Instagram story.
That's
and
right.
I'm like, that's so weird. That's kind of lame. Like I didn't get it, but that you were even ahead of the trend of like showing yourself to your audience, which is like what every influencer does now. They're like, hey guys, today I'm brushing my teeth. Hey guys, today I'm taking my dog for a walk. Like you were ahead of that. So I think, you know, if luck favors people, it's people like you that do those certain things that I've been trying to like quantify and get more luck into my life, because I think I can just make better decisions or move in a way that encourages it to come and flow into life a little bit better. So yeah, that's my thought about the luck thing and about the lasting throughout the game, lasting long enough in the game, not crashing out.
That's the biggest important thing is like, I see so many guys just starting a business, then making a little bit of money, and as soon as it gets hard, they quit and start a new one, as long as that's easy. But then that gets hard and they start a new one. And there's guys out there that are really quote unquote good on that. They go from 0 to 50K a month relatively quickly, but then they quit and then they go again from 0 to 50K a month. But then I'm always like, while you're making 0 to 50K, 0 to 50K, 0 for 50K, there's another guy, he goes 0 from 50K, 50 to 100K, 100 to 200K, 200 to 500K. So that just stacks up much more. And also that guy's building up experiences that are building up upon each other. Sure, you can take some of the experiences from business A and extrapolate it on the business B and so on and so forth, but you're just like your skill set just stacks if you stay in the same niche or at least the same industry. Now, really quick, because you mentioned the Bitcoin thing, the crypto wallet. Did I ever tell you what came out there?
I want to know because I'm really curious to know, because I was talking to our accountant about it, Mike A. I was like, hey man, I need to get access to this thing and because I need to get like max access to his crypto wallet, because if you would have done anything in there, it would have been like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So this would have been like a 6-year-old crypto wallet, and I was like, this is either going to be like amazing or it's going to be like $10 in there. You put like 5 cents in, the 5 cents to $10. If you had even a grand in there, that grand would probably be worth like more than 10 to 20K at the point.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Okay, it was really funny. So I knew I bought a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2017. So that was like, I remember I bought Bitcoin at like 8K, and I was like, oh, I'm so late. This is such a lame move. This is such a buy high, sell low kind of scenario. And I bought like Ethereum at like, I can't remember, $200 or 400, something like that. So I bought that, and I was never like, I'll invest it so I get rich. I had a bunch of money from my first program, from my first $1 million program. I was like, I don't want to have it rot on my bank account. Plus, I don't want to spend it. I'll just put it in this crypto thing and see what happens. So I did that in 2017, all right? And then I never really looked at it. And then I remember that I put it all on a wallet when that Sam Bankman-Fried bullshit happened, when they're like, yo, if you have it on an exchange, like it can be a scam. And I remember I had it all on Coinbase. And I remember that they were saying like, yeah, Coinbase might go bankrupt as well. So I'm like, oh shit, I should put this on one of these like Ledger wallets. So I put it on a Ledger wallet, okay? And then I'm like, again, like 2 years later now, we're in 2024. I'm like, I wonder how much of that stuff is worth now, right? Just out of curiosity. So I go find one of the Ledger wallet. I go find my Ledger wallet, which was at a secure place in a secure country. And I open it. I'm like, oh, cool. Like there's like 250K on there. That's pretty good. I didn't know that. But hold on a second. That's only Ethereum, because I also bought Bitcoin. So I'm like, huh? But I put it on the fucking Ledger. That is so, what? Where is it? So I go to Coinbase, and I'm like, you can track where you sent coins to, you know? And I'm like, yeah, here. It's like this transaction was in 2022 or whatever.
Like your mom has it or something.
I'm like, what is that wallet address? What the fuck? So I sent it to my friend. I'm like, hey, I know I sent all my Bitcoin to this like wallet address. Can you tell me if I can find out where that wallet is? And he's like, that's the thing about crypto. It's like, you can't find that out. Like, right. I'm like, what exchange? Maybe it's on a different exchange. He's like, dude, like it's you just have the wallet address. Like if you don't know where, you're fucked. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's on Poloniex. And so I go to Poloniex because I remember I used Poloniex as well as an exchange thingy. That's like many people shaking their heads right now. That's how dumb I am with crypto. So I go to Poloniex and I'm like, log in. And I still got the logins. I still got the 2-factor authentication. But because I haven't logged in for so long, it's like, you need to confirm your email address.
Yeah, passport and all that shit. Yeah.
And my email address was the old RSD email address that I had when I still worked together with you guys. So I'm like, well, I don't have access to that anymore. Fuck, the Bitcoin must be on the Poloniex thing. That's where I reached out to you, like, hey, can you guys give me access to my old email? So when the confirmation thing comes, And then I'm like, okay, until that happens, because it's going to take a while, let me also check the other exchanges, because I remember I also had some money on Binance.
Right.
So I go to Binance. I'm like, oh, cool. I still have 20K in crypto on there. So I found 20K. Oh, that's not bad. So cool. But it's not the actual Bitcoins that I sent somewhere. It's just other shit that I bought somewhere, apparently. So I'm like, that is, okay, fuck. Okay, no, it's got to be in Poloniex. It's got to be in Poloniex. I finally get access to Poloniex. I go on there and 60K. And I'm like, that's not all the Bitcoin, though, and it's not the stuff that I sent. So I was like, okay, but I got 20K extra. I got 60K there. But that is other things. I'm like thinking, and I'm like, how dumb can I be? Fuck. Not that it really matters about the money. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a couple 100K lost, whatever. But that I lost it in a stupid way. Like, that's what really bothered me. Like, I'm smarter than this, than to forget what fucking wallet this is. Like, come on, you know what I mean? So I was really ashamed of myself. I'm like, this is like probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. And then I'm thinking. I keep checking that one ledger. And I'm like, no, it's not on there. I never sent any Bitcoin to this fucking ledger. And then I random idea, like as my last Hail Mary, I WhatsApp my dad. I'm like, Dad, could it just, I know, super weird, but could it be that maybe I have a ledger at your place? Maybe I bought more than one? And he's like, 2 minutes later, he's like, yeah, it's right here. Sends me a photo from it. I'm like, wait, what? When?
He has like your pass key.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I like send a piece of paper to my mom with like 12 words on it. And put it in your trunk.
Yeah, he's literally said, he's like, oh yeah, here's the pass key as well. I got it all here. Like, he gave it to me. And I'm like laughing as I read this. And Primoz, my videographer, he sits next to me. That was in Cyprus like last month. And he's like, what are you laughing? I'm like, dude. And I tell him the story. And he's like, yeah, I was there when you ordered the second ledger. You were rambling about FTX and you wanted to get all the money out on another ledger. I'm like, I do not recall that. And you could have fucking told me. And he's like, I thought you knew. Turns out I have like 2.7 Bitcoin on that other ledger. Wow. It was like 160K or something. So it's like,
wow. But steaks for everybody. I was a part of the process. We're all going getting steaks. We're all going to Imperial Cafe.
But in the process,
we're all going to Mykonos. We're all getting in relationships with the wrong people.
But in the process of looking for that, I found 20K plus 60K. I'm like, I didn't know that existed either. Fuck, what am I doing with my life? So that was really funny.
But I mean, that's not even a bad thing, bro. I mean, like, look, you didn't know the crypto was there, but it just goes to show that you were forward thinking on things. You would still invest into things that you weren't sure about, but you're always testing things. You were cutting edge on things that might pan out, like crypto, or things that might not pan out, like Periscope. Like you still did it, right? Like that's an equality that I think pays off in some way.
Let me see if Periscope even still exists.
Probably not,
because
dude,
here's the crazy thing. It's like I was on Periscope, and then I woke up one day and I had like 10,000 followers. And I'm like, that must be a glitch. Turns out I did this one rant, like, you know when you're working for so long in a row that you kind of get like a high from it. You get like kind of weird, like your brain is all funny.
Because you're out socializing so much and you're doing it to hours in the morning just yelling.
Exactly. Like, you just have fun. Yeah. You didn't drink, you didn't take any drugs, but you feel like you're kind of high. Periscope doesn't exist anymore, by the way. So I did that and I went on a Periscope Live and then it went viral. And the Periscope Live was called How I Developed Sickening Work Ethic or something like that. And it went live and I got like 10,000 followers, which is really funny. It went viral, like crazy stuff. But yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. Here's what I want to ask you is like, you made a ton of money over the years as well. What did you invest it in?
Wow, good question. I first of all, I want to say I wish we did it like on an external shopping cart. Because everything we did was through an internal shopping cart.
We did what?
Like everything,
collecting your money,
collecting payments and stuff. Because I want one of those fucking click funnel plaques, man.
I was gonna say, like, I don't have. You must have millions of them.
I would love those. Like everybody in the company would have several ClickFunnels plaques, and I don't. And I feel like that's the new thing to show. Like
it is.
I'm like, maybe I could like, I don't know, like do it through the custom shopping cart and like send it to ClickFunnels or something. Like
Yeah,
I want a plaque. I want to
Yeah.
have several plaques. But I
Yeah.
don't. I want to. That's the new thing. It's like the
They
blue.
look great.
It's like the blue check mark. You know what I mean? like, I want
That's
one
how
of those.
it is. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got one too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know how many people came to me? They became my client because I was like, I don't want to show off. Fuck, it's such a try hard thing. Look at my awards with Martin Armgart. And then my CMO Robin, he's like, dude, you should have him in the background of your little studio. So I'm like, whatever. I just put him in the fucking studio. I don't give zero shits. And then all of a sudden, we got all these people that are bought all my programs. They're like, yo, like, because I saw you have the ClickFunnels award, so you must know how to make money. And I'm like, motherfucker, I made money for years before that.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't believe me or what? Like, you needed a
Right.
fucking plaque on the background. But yeah, that in of itself is like a you're part of the tribe of the money making.
Like you're now certified by what it means to be internet marketing. There'll probably be something else in the future. And also too, I think it's through one funnel, right?
Yeah.
The ClickFunnels. Yeah. So if you have like
single
if you have several different funnels, it doesn't take that into account.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I mean, then you would get several awards for several different funnels. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you knew the first year I worked with the company, I did $700K.
Nice, man.
That was my first year. And then something crazy happened, which was my lowest year ever. I did like 40.
Wow.
That was the year that COVID hit. Because what we had to do is we had all these we plan out the tours a year in advance. So like I'm going to this country, I'm going to that country, I'm going to that country, and then you can't fulfill the programs and you can't collect money for these programs, and that's like we planned it out a year in advance. So that was like very unfortunate, like more than unfortunate. Just like as when like at that time, like 90% of the revenue was coming from seminars.
Yeah, offline seminars.
Yes. Now, had we had done high ticket mentoring like Max, we would have been prepared for that in advance. You see what I'm saying?
Did you have a high ticket mentoring? No, you never had.
Only afterwards. I had random Skype calls, but it was not positioned as a high ticket mentoring. It was one-on-one.
Because Julian had one then after.
No.
I had the RSD Max
afterwards.
mentoring.
Afterwards, everybody had one, but initially, everybody. I just had like a 1 hour Skype call, booked them randomly. Not a package, not an 8-week thing, not a membership area, not a community. It was just like, hey, you want to talk to me for an hour? Great. It was that. Nobody had mentoring at that point.
But Julian didn't he have Transformation Mastery online or whatever? He had a high ticket.
He did. It was I think it was like a group thing with like assistant coaches.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was like him with something else and like really high ticket. I don't think it was high ticket. I think it was like group coaching.
But that's what high ticket was. Mine was also group coaching, high ticket group.
Yeah, I think the price points were also very different too.
Okay.
And so at that point, I think don't quote me on it, but then so like everybody shifted and developed, and then I think it was 2000. COVID hit. They call it COVID-19. It hit in 2020, really.
Yeah, but the 19 doesn't stand for the
19
year,
doesn't
bro.
stand, 19 doesn't stand for 20. And then I think it was the next year I had my best year.
Oh shit!
So I beat the 700 after that.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really crazy how it can go like, like
yeah,
right.
Black Swan event.
But I learned Black Swan event. That's what it was. Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's like a rogue wave, you know.
I don't even know what a Black Swan event is, but it sounds appropriate. It sounds
like
right.
a rant, like something you can't foresee, you can't plan for, like a solar flare, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine a solar flare would hit and just blow out the grid for like a month.
Yeah, and if you're not prepared for it, it hits you in ways that you can't even imagine it. So you have to learn how to be prepared for the next one. Like I am so prepared for the next thing that happens. I'm so prepared. I'm like, where are we getting the land? Where are we getting the shelter? I'm like, we're going off the grid.
We need a bunker.
Like, we're gonna get a bunker. We got to get the crypto going. Like, who can shoot a gun? Like, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever happens. I'm like, I remember, bro. The government put me in one of those hotels once. Now I remember I was in New York. I was dating a girl. I took a test, came out positive. They put me in a hotel for a week.
No
I was in one of those like concentration camps for COVID. I was in one. I don't forget. I remember this. People are like, oh yeah, just like going about their lives like nothing happened. I'm prepared. I have so much risk factored into my thought process now. It's like people think I'm crazy, but I'm actually sane. I'm actually sane.
Okay. Real quick, I'm just gonna message my friend about the dinner that we have later.
Okay.
So you went to, so they did like men in like like bioweapon lab suits come to you like, come with us, sir.
That's how it was in Canada. Luckily enough, when this happened to me, I was in New York. I was like dating a thought we were gonna get together. She's married now.
Yeah.
Happily for her, we talked about getting married, and of course, when she found I had COVID, she was like one of these people that was very, she was very, very strict on it.
Yeah.
And we ended up like getting stuck in this hotel by the New York government, monitored by the New York government for 10 days. It was absolutely horrible. So
Damn.
yeah, man. Yeah,
I mean,
man.
New York was crazy.
New York was like
a crazy
it was like
year.
round zero.
Yeah,
I think they called it Patient Zero.
Yeah,
like that movie. That movie called like
The guy who ate a bat in Wuhan or something like that.
And,
Yeah.
like, he flew to New York. Like got on a plane and flew to New York. It was like
He's like,
Patient
I don't
Zero.
feel well. I gotta go to New York.
I gotta go to New York. We identified Patient Zero. He's in New York. We're using the CT cameras to like find out where he is. It was like New York was like crazy at the time.
I mean,
So,
okay,
like,
wait.
yeah.
Let's get back to the topic.
Okay,
What
okay.
did you invest in?
Dude,
Gear, probably a lot of video gear.
I have to think back.
You got stocks. You got real estate.
I had my first apartment building when I was 24.
Damn.
So that was before I worked with you in
You
the company.
you own an apartment building?
When I was 24, I bought my first one. Yeah.
You still own it, or you sold it?
Sold that one. Sold the one.
Damn, how much
Yeah.
you sell it for? What do you got? Well, what profit margins you got?
Jeez. Bought it for like I'm gonna do Canadian dollars because it
the
is.
fake dollars. All right.
Bought it for 600. I think it sold it for like $1 million.
Damn, that's
that.
pretty good, man.
Yeah,
It's almost
it was
50,
like
that's almost 100%.
it was like 5 years equity in that. I think about 5 years equity because that's the law in Canada. That was when I was 24. Did that.
Damn.
That was 24. I had a lot of buddies that got into crypto very, very early. Like I have some guys like they're known in the community like for Deuce. There's a guy named I won't even say his name, but he's known. The other guy who's known in the crypto community very large. And they were telling me about this stuff like a long time ago, and I was like, "Huh? What is this weird?" They were like, "Yeah, you can like buy stuff and not tell people. Like if you want to buy like MDMA." I was like, "Well, I don't even do MDMA."
That's the selling point.
That's how they were positioning it to me. Like you could buy MDMA. I'm like, I don't do MDMA. Why would I want this thing? And these guys own embassies. They own Bitcoin embassies in Canada. They have the licenses for the embassies.
Oh, wow.
So they set them up very, very early.
Yeah.
By the way, all these guys were into dating advice at the time.
Of course, everyone was.
Every single one of them. That's how I know these guys.
the best part
We all
of it.
like would go out to like these clubs till like 5 a.m. and like, hey, I got this thing called crypto. I'm like, what is that? They also let me tell you, one of the guys that got into crypto, I actually have a connection to Alex Becker. You know Alex Becker?
Yeah.
Okay. Alex Becker had a company with my roommate. I had a roommate at the time.
Oh no way.
My roommate's name, if Alex Becker is watching this, send this to Becker, okay? Because I haven't talked to him yet, and we have this crazy connection. Alex Becker had a company with my roommate. The company was called Source Wave SEO. Does not exist anymore. It was a website, okay? My roommate's name was Alexander Trefiro, okay? And they started the first. They got into this like all SEO stuff. So I was under these guys really early, like really, really early. They were telling me all about it. I'm like, okay, cool. And so like, yeah, that got into that. And then camera equipment. I mean, probably, I don't know, $50K in camera equipment. I can't even imagine how much camera equipment I bought over the years. So can't imagine how much camera equipment.
That's the great, like, we were, I mean, dude, when we started with YouTube, it was like 2015, man.
Yeah.
YouTube was just the Wild West. That was before it got acquired by Google. Remember that shit? Like, we had the wildest stuff on YouTube, uncensored, and we were the first dorks that would actually invest in fucking real camera gear.
Yeah, DSLRs.
Yeah, we were the first one. Like, back then, everybody recorded with like fucking these like little Sony Handycams,
Yes,
the
the Sony
camcorders,
with the green night
720p.
vision.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also like people like PewDiePie, they had these like little Canon G7X power shots, bullshit, like all these dumb vlogger things. And then Owen, shout out, he was like, we should have professional DSLR cameras, which were horrible to deal with if you don't like. A camcorder, you turn it on and it films, like it adjusts the ISO, the focus, everything in auto. And then the DSLR cameras, everything manual. And we're like dicking around, like lost hours of video footage because the focus was off. You know, like you would go to a city. Like I never forget that. Like Owen would go to Austin for like a week with Kevin Judica, aka Kevin Juca, like Yuka.
He's buried
and
now,
I remember Nick called him Judica. There's no D in his name. Read his last name. He said Kevin Judica and Dave Zellman. Shout out
David Zellman, New York.
They would shoot all week, right? All week, like Owen just like blowing like 30K on like flying everybody out, and then they come back and they look at the footage, and every single clip is out of focus.
Yes.
It's like, oh, the autofocus was off, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Oh, the aperture was wrong.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the mic didn't sync. The battery died, and I wasn't monitoring it the whole time. You're just like,
And
no.
you're sitting there and you're just like, that was a week of my life. And all you had to do was just press this one button and put it in fucking focus. Like, that's the pain we went through.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Casey Neistat was one of the first guys like, DSLR camera. Nowadays, every schmuck uses a DSLR camera. But we were amongst the first ones, dude. Like, every one of us had like a fucking Pelican case with like 3 different lenses.
Atmos Shogun.
10 batteries,
85
Atmos
Zeiss.
Shogun. Like, yeah. All this shit. Like, dude, like hard drives. Just stacks of hard drives to fit all the 4K footage on.
Do you know why we did that?
Because we wanted to lead the industry. We wanted to stay ahead of everybody else.
I mean, that's one way of putting it. That's one way of putting it. I mean, that's like the nice way of putting it. I asked Nick about this one day, and I was like, "Why do we do this?" I didn't understand, because you would take these videos in 4K and you would upload them, and YouTube only did 1080p at the time. So what was the point of putting a 4K video up on YouTube with 1080? And I asked Nick, and Nick is like, because we wanted to create a barrier of entry around the business.
Yeah.
Which made a lot of sense. It's like when we were doing that, it was so professional with stages around the world. People couldn't like copy that and imitate it. Now it's really interesting because what works now is like, hey, it's just me in my mom's room,
Exactly.
my basement. I'm just
The
talking to you
counterculture
talking to you like a friend. Yeah, the counterculture is what works now. And I think it might go back to being professional again soon,
think so.
because you think so? Because I think there's so many podcasters, or we're on a podcast now, but so many like people just making stuff up. There has to be some sort of authority figure in it, right?
Yeah, but it's not necessarily the quality of the image. It's more like the format and how loose the format is. It's like, even now we're recording. Is this 4K? We're recording 4K or 1080 at least. It's super professional. Looks really good. But we're not like, hello, today we are talking about the thing. We're just like, Madison, what's up? It's like the medium itself, like the way we're talking, that is super loose and original. That's what people like. And we could have shot this on an iPhone, as long as it's pleasant to the eye and the lighting isn't shitty, like filming against the window. You're just like a silhouette, you know, and the
I
microphone
just
is like
realized
blowing out.
this whole ceiling is a light. I just realized that. You realize this thing is
Oh yeah,
white, but there's no lights
That's a
here.
light?
The whole ceiling,
Holy-
it's a translucent, like a see-through ceiling.
Like
a
now
white-
that you say it, I just thought it's a white
the
thing.
whole ceiling is a soft box.
That's what it is.
crazy.
It's a fucking softbox.
Yeah.
That's creating all the sick fucking. I need that shit in my studio in one of my studios in Helsinki.
I need a shower. I need a soft
Yeah,
box.
yeah,
I need
yeah.
a soft box shower. My
Dude.
skin be glistening, not looking all fresh and clean and shit.
Podcast under the shower, and I can put a waterproof microphone. But that's the thing. Here's what I'm proud of: the little mini studio I built. All the camera stuff, it's all rigged up to the desk, just like these microphones are, and it's a standing desk. I press a button and it goes to standing. When I'm walking on a treadmill and working, and I press a button to go back down to sitting. And I don't have to adjust the cameras. They're moving with the table, with the desk. So that's really cool. So if I want to shoot a YouTube video while walking on a treadmill, I just press the button. It goes up. I don't need to readjust, no nothing. It's really, really epic. So that's like the nerd dream. Because you and I, we travel around the world filming in every city. And people think it's so easy, but
not.
you go, you set it up, the light has to fit, then there's fucking people walking through the shot.
Yeah,
it's just a pain.
There's a guy left a comment on my YouTube the other day. He's like, Madison, I feel like your production quality has gone down. Listen to that fucker who left the comment. I got a message for you. I used to travel with 2 assistants.
Yeah.
2 assistants, pay their full flights, their hotels, pay their hourly salaries, which at the time was a starting salary like 5 years ago, which is like $15 an hour. Then pay, I believe it was some of their food, accommodation, all this stuff. Camera gear would get broken. Madison, I'm sorry, I dropped the camera. Don't worry about it. I'll just buy a new one. Like all this stuff. So of course you were getting like 30K videos on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
But if I'm traveling alone right now, because some guys can't travel, I'm traveling alone, I got to make sure I don't lose the shot. So I'm going to go with something simple like the Osmo Pocket 3 for a simple like day in the life blog. I'm going to go with that because I can't afford to lose the shot and then get, like I said, I was in Greece before. I can't like leave Greece, come to Prague, and be like, oh man, that shot was out of focus. I need to go back to Greece and get that shot again. Like I can't do that. Like, sorry, Max, I know at the airport I'm a little bit late, but I'm gonna go back to get that shot that I just missed in Greece. So there's continuity in the video. Like the lighting was off. Like I can't do that. So I'm just going like simple and clean right now, really like easy and dirty. I'm not using the DSLRs and the Nebulas. We had Nebula steady cams. We had the Ronin steady cams. We had all these, like, it was just crazy. It was crazy. And then I'd pop into a city and be like, at the time, I'd pop into a city and be like, "What are you here for with all this steady cams? These
at the border,
at the border, yeah. I'd be at customs. What are you here for with all these steady cams, these lenses, these this gear, this full team here? Oh, I'm just here for the food.
Yeah.
Like." Because at the time, I couldn't explain to them like what a digital nomad was. Nobody worked from home on a computer. They didn't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm here for the food. I'm here for the food. Yeah, I'm here for the thing you guys make, that thing. It's like, yeah. So I don't want to go through all that anymore. I want an easy life.
Yeah.
Easy life, you know. I want the same effect but easier. So yeah, I understand. Like, it's all changed a lot tremendously, and I'm happy with my current setup. But yeah, I would like to do this podcast kind of setup as well. When I walked in, I was like, how much is this? How can I set it up? Not to be competitive, but just like for ease of production, because I have so much stuff that I don't put out and I don't say. I feel like my content is like always like 6 to 9 months behind what I've learned.
Yeah, because you got to refine it.
I got to refine it.
Yeah,
I'm on the road refining it, package it, and then I say it out loud. But I'd like to get it out quicker. I think getting stuff out quicker would be useful. Getting the ideas and the messaging and the stories out quicker would be useful. So
yeah,
I'd like to get that.
You got to refine it. Like, you can't put it out there raw, because it'll be weird. It would be hard to explain. Like, I remember actually that was one of the things, and I want you to drop some of your teachings as well. I got a bunch of bullet points here. That's why I'm opening my phone. We'll talk about this in a second. But that was one of the things I witnessed that Owen does, and I never knew until retrospectively, looking back many years later. What he would do is I would just film him as his assistant back then, and he would just randomly talk about a concept. And I'm like, when do you want to release this? He's like, don't worry about it. We have hours of footage that he never released. And then he kept talking about the same concept at dinner, at breakfast, to clients, at like a free tour, like a 3-hour free tour. The next week, same topic again. Then we would go camping in Hawaii on the Pali Coast. He would just ramble about the same topic for like a year. And then we would create a shot. We would set up a shot in XYZ random city, and he would just fucking nail it. He would just talk about the exact same topic, but in a 2-hour segment from point A to point B. Not a single second where he would like, oh, what am I going to talk next? Like, pause and think. Just pure content, perfectly strung together, perfect examples, perfect metaphors. Just like a comic, like a comedian that would create the jokes and make them tighter and better and funnier every time, like the same bit until perfection. And that's exactly what you said. It's about 6 to 9 months behind, because you're talking about the same concept. You're pinging it with friend A, you're pinging it with friend B, you're talking about it with friend C, you're mentioning it at dinner, you're pinging it, you're constantly trying, okay, does the person that I'm bringing this concept to make sense? Do they not? Do they understand what I'm saying? Does that metaphor fit? Or maybe a different metaphor is more fit? And then all of a sudden, you knock it out in like an epic video, and people are like, this is so cool. Yeah. This makes so much sense.
Owen always tells me like the best comment that anybody ever leaves on a video is when they say, how did you know I needed this? This is exactly what I need to hear at the right time.
Yeah.
It's like you're in my house.
Yeah.
It's because he like bounced it off so many people. He learned how to articulate it in a way that's so on point. That's a skill. It takes a lot of time to do that. It's like you said, refining a joke like a comedian, or refining the material. Eventually it gets better and better, and then eventually you got a way that resonates it. I find it's harder though doing it online. That's why I still like doing boot camps or some version of in-person training, because when you're working with in-person people or in a live audience, you can see the expressions on their face.
Yeah.
And you see if they're like checking out,
yeah,
or they're into it.
You get live feedback.
Live feedback helps you to refine it and see which points are hitting. When their eyes light up and you say something, they're like, oh, I get it now. I understand. That helps you do it a lot better. And that's what I like. But I find you don't get that from online mentoring. And that's also why I travel around with a little fucking camera, not GoPro, little Osmo Pocket now, because I'll be on boot camp and I see the students go, oh, I'm like, whip the camera out.
Yeah, film that.
And I take it out and I just whip it out. And I'm like, I literally just film it like this. We're talking about it, and because I'm in the flow,
yeah,
I'm in the zone.
Yeah,
there's no setting of the aperture, or the focus, or the volume. I get it, and I know it's the best version, and the best snippet of explaining that concept, so it hits. So that's what I appreciate it. Like, I try to do as much real time epiphanies, almost, right?
Yeah.
Like when it hits you, kind of just like expressing that.
Is that also the kind of stuff that you came up with the social? I have it on my notes. Social circle lifestyle laws. Is that stuff that you probably just came up with coaching life, and then you kind of dialed it down into laws? Like, oh, that's law 1, that's law 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how you created it?
Because I was like, nobody. This is so crazy. There's this thing that's going on where everybody's like, it's just not worth it. Like relationships are not worth it. It's too, I watch these podcasts. They say they never have a girlfriend. They say they never get married.
Yeah.
I watch all these podcasts. They say go monk mode. I go on Tinder and Bumble. I get no matches. They're a scam. Tinder wants to charge me $500 a month for the most advanced platinum now. It's I work from home. I'm a digital nomad. I don't even go into an office anymore. How do I make friends at work? I'm limited to my social circle that I currently have, and I can't get it to be any larger. Or some guys say, I invested all my time in just making money. I worked really hard in my business. I went to school. I got an education. I invested 4 years in that, but I sacrificed my personal life. And I hear these stories directly because I'm in touch with so many people. I'm like, okay, there has to be a solution, because I know just taking your cards and going home, not playing the game of life, is not a solution. And myself personally, I've managed to do that every single city I drop into. Sometimes I go for a week, but when I go for a month, I go and I set up a social circle in 30 days. I set up a social life in 30 days. I think I sent you some clips or whatever, me like riding horseback into the sunset with like 5 girls like the other day, like all on white horses and white shirts, like riding into the sunset. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. The other day, I also I took like 6 girls on like a coffee date.
Oh,
and
sick.
And I was like, because guys are like, girls never go for coffee. They just go for like rooftop steaks. And I was like, no, they can go for coffee if you present it in a way.
Yeah.
Like, hear me with all these like wonderful people, like classy, high class people having coffee. And like, I'm living my wet dream. And that's what I call it. I'm like, if you had a wet dream, how could you like live your wet dream? What would it look like? Because very often we think we have to either A, do the yacht, B, do the, the bottle at the club. And maybe that's fun for some people. But for me, I don't like doing that all the time. I'm 40 now, and I also know that when I do that, I get shit sleep, and that shit sleep affects my productivity the next day.
Yeah.
And then I wake up late for the flight or don't get on it, and I know like I'm not on point for the business call, and like it actually costs me more money. So I'm like, okay, a lot of guys feel like social life and dating is not worth it. How do we address that? And then how do you set it up so you can live your wet dream? Whatever your wet dream is, you want to live that version of it, you know? And maybe it's video games, maybe it's like whatever it is, you live that. So that's what I think about. That's what I really focus on. And I come up with concepts to do that. Actually, I wanted to ask you about that because on that same list of concepts, okay, one of the concepts there on my list is the laws of service circle. And nobody's ever talked about this before, but you had subconsciously done this. Let me explain.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So the law of the service circle is that if anybody ever says social circle is too hard, it takes too much time, it takes too much energy, I think you can do it with 20 minutes a day. And I think you can invest $100 a week, and that'd be your social circle. Let's first of all tackle $100. Listen, if you do online dating, it's going to be $300 a month. If you upgrade your Tinder, your Platinum, your Bumble, your Hinge, it's like $70 a week for each. You're already at the $300. If you don't have $300, you shouldn't be listening to Max's podcast. This is not the place for you. This is not for you. Go get it handled first. Go drive Uber Eats. Go do Volt or whatever it is here in Europe. Go get it handled. This is not the place for you, okay? Unless you want to get inspired. But 20 minutes a day, I think, is reasonable at $300 a month. If you're gonna have a hot girlfriend, by the way, you're gonna spend $300 a month anyways. So just get that out of your mind, okay? So they want it to be fast. They want it to be easy. I think the fastest way to start a social life is to do it with your service circle. So what I mean by that is, like, I like to hire as many of my friends as possible, or I like to put money in people's pockets. I like to, like, for example, I have a woman right now who comes out to all of my events. She's gorgeous. She's a personal trainer, okay? Gorgeous girl. She brings her friends along, which is another concept, right? The law of two. Like Star Wars. Like Star Wars. The law of two.
There's always two.
An
apprentice.
Like an apprentice and a master. Yeah. The rule of two, as it's called. There's always two. So I met her because I went on Instagram. I put up an ad on Instagram saying I'm looking for a personal chef.
Oh,
right?
All right.
Me and you always like would have meal preps at places.
Yeah.
I'm like, instead of just asking for friends, how about I just like hire somebody for a meal prep chef, and like let me put an ad, and I see all these people that have it, but I also like look at their social medias. So I hire the person that has the coolest social media.
Nice.
Not just the only best chef, but the best social media.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they can introduce me to things, take me places, whatever, right? So hire this girl.
Smart, man.
I know because I hired this girl. She's a chef. She's got a cool social media. She brings out friends. She's hitting all the levels, and because she's a fitness influencer as well, and has a degree in cooking, whenever she comes out, she films content for us. She comes out with her camera and she like edits it. She's like, I made an Instagram reel for us. I'm like, yay. She posted it on her story. All of her friends now follow me. Okay, so look at all the levels we got going on there.
That is what city is that in?
This is in Bogota.
Sick.
So we got the personal chef who turns into the friend who comes to events. She's also a fitness person, so she creates content. She posts the content. All of her friends follow me. Okay, and she comes out and she's a great person. I love her to death. And she's like, we have the concept of exchanging value, which is really important. So she's not coming to me for the opportunity. She like loves to exchange value. So this girl's amazing, right? So the point is, I hired her as a chef. I think everybody can quick start a social circle by just hiring people. Like hire people, hire an assistant, hire a personal chef. You already have the thing is, Madison, I can't hire people. I'm broke. Listen, you already have a fucking barber. You get your hair cut once a month, right? Like, get a cool barber. Invite your barber to things that you're doing. Invite your barber to like, hey, I'm having a barbecue. You want to come? And you're like, why would my barber come? Well, your barbers are going to most likely come to what you're doing if you see them regularly, because it's the law, they call it the Benjamin Franklin effect. When you give somebody value, they want to give it back. You already have a history of giving value to that person, so they give value back to you. It's like, it's not a brand new person, it's somebody that you've been giving value to for a period of time, and they somehow feel indebted to you. It's not in a bad way, but they're like, you know what? This guy's been good, he's been my client for 4 months, 5 months. I see him once in a while. He's in the neighborhood. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go to that thing. Partly because they don't want to lose your business, and they have that, but it's enough of a commonality also, an interest for you guys to proceed. I have a personal trainer at the gym. I have a chef. I have a Spanish teacher. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo hablo español ahora. Solo un poco, más o menos. I hire my... Sí, es de verdad. Qué rico. Ay, Dios míos. So I speak Spanish. I have a Spanish teacher. But my Spanish teacher out this up. My Spanish teacher brings people like, oh, actually, they're a fan of you, Madison. It's great. Like, so I'm combining all these service industry people to jumpstart a social circle. I can do that in a week or 5 days. And there's no excuse why anybody can't do that. Whether they work from home, they have a job remotely, they work on a laptop, they're a programmer, they're a fucking programmer, they don't do anything. They can combine these several layers of their service circle to jumpstart their life. It doesn't sound cool. It's not like, but I want to be on the yacht. You're not there yet. You got to walk before you can crawl. You're a loser. You have no friends or family around. You have no social life, and you're cheap and you're broke and you don't want to spend a lot of time. This is how you can do it really quick with your existing life. Now, the way it relates to you is you maybe consciously or subconsciously did this in Kiev. You were having parties in Kiev, and I believe you had a wonderful female assistant. Yeah. And your female assistant comes, and then your female assistant's on a video. You're like, oh, well, she's in a video. Guys like girls. And she's my assistant, and so I'm paying her. So you're not like I would never pay a woman directly to spend time with me, but if she's fulfilling a job or a service and we're doing that anyways and we like each other, it's okay to exchange values. So I'm curious actually about your setup that you had with like people coming in and out, and you were hiring people for certain things, and you were also having parties. What was your philosophy on that, on like employing your service circle and also making friends with your service circle?
Yeah, honestly, like the reason why I started throwing parties was because I love heavy metal. And I was on 4 world tours, and we used to coach in clubs, which is the worst for a metalhead like me. It's like you were constantly listening to Airbnb, to R&B. You listen to R&B and like rap. Like I hated it. It was the worst. And then when I had all these offices in Kiev, I was living there as well. I'm like, I want to throw my parties, but because I don't want to listen to that shit music. So we wouldn't really blast Iron Maiden or something like that. But at the very least, I would have a playlist that was doable for a party and then acceptable for me as well. And I also noticed, like, I don't speak the language. I speak some Russian now, but not good enough to organize things. And almost nobody there spoke English. So I put out a newspaper ad or some sort of online job thing ad. Like, hey, I'm looking for an assistant. And weirdly enough, I don't think a lot of guys want to have an assistant job. They're like, I'm not going to be an assistant for another guy, because they read the responsibilities. Like, responsibilities is like get the groceries, do the ordering, organize, you know. So only women applied. So we're like, oh, okay, well, I don't care. And then mostly young women applied, like 19, 20-year-olds, because they did it next to their full-time studies. And they're like, okay, I can do most of this stuff just on the phone, online, while I'm sitting in my lectures. So I hired my first assistant was Julia. Then we had Valia, and then 2 Katrinas, actually. Because the job got more and more and more, so I hired 2 assistants at the same time. And then I'm like, I want to throw a party. Figure it out, like, good luck. Like, and then she's like, oh, this is fun. Like, I always wanted to organize parties. Like, this is cool. I'm like, here's the card. This is the budget. Just go nuts. Like, make sure we have cool music. I want a DJ. And then I had all these ideas, right? I want the DJ to wear a mask with LED lights on it, you know? And he's like, got it, LED light mask. And then we had all these random ideas. And like, and then I want a guy with hookah, like a shisha thing, you know? So we got that. And like, I want to have like people that dance with like fire sticks. And he's like, got it, fire stick dancers. And you know, I wouldn't even remember these things. It would be like midnight. I would be done with work. I'm like, fire stick dancers, and she's like, got it. And a cold plunge with ice in it. And she's like, all right, I'll write this down. So they just love doing it. And for me, what was always important is that we're a culture fit, because my first company, dating advice company, was crazy. Like, here's a guy traveling around the world teaching guys how to become more confident with women. So of course I couldn't hire like a 35-year-old family father. That'd be like, what the fuck is this? So naturally, I wanted to have people in the company that were a fit for the culture. And then naturally, these were all cool people. They were fun to work with, especially the videographers, because I knew I had to travel with these guys. So if this guy is a pain in the ass, I don't care how good he is with shooting. If he's just a pain in the ass, like, I'll be spending most of my time sitting next to that guy on flights or in Airbnbs or whatnot. So I wanted to make sure that I work with cool people. And then I'm like, you guys are doing a great job. Let me throw parties for everyone. So it was just like you said, it was like you wanted to exchange value. Like, I want that guy to stay in my company because I know they're good and I know they're probably getting offers to work in other companies. But then I want that guy or girl to weigh my company and the everyday life they experience through that versus the others. And they're like, yeah, maybe the other guy pays the same amount or maybe even more, but here I have the brotherhood, the family, the parties. I mean, dude, you know, for how many of my staff, like, I paid their education. Like, I had, like Valia was like, oh, I have to study for the exams thingy and it's so expensive. I have to do this other job. I'm like, how much is it? Here's the money. You good now? You good? Got it. Oh, driving license? You got a driving license? Too expensive? I'll pay for that as well, so you can drive me around later. Just pay for it. So these extra miles that you go for your staff, they don't cost you much. Plus, you profit from it as well if you like parties. But at the same time, it makes other people really hyped to work in your company and keep performing. I
like everything you said there, bro. Like, there's so much stuff that was like really dope. I relate to everything that you said, and like, what do I want to touch on first, man?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, mine is like firing. I will say that it's what you kind of just created a cult, like a little cult, you know? Like, it's like they like you, they like hang out with you, they like to do things with you, and that's worth more than anything. But you got to find the right fit, right? Like, you got to find people that say, hey, I want to hang out with you because it's worth it, and I want to be in this lifestyle you guys create all together, and they realize there's a value exchange. One rule I have for people that come and hang out with me is there's got to be like a value exchange. Like, because a lot of people will come in and like hang out with you for the opportunity. Like, oh, I want to go to the party. I want to hang out this cool thing. But the value exchange has to be like established into the relationship and like built initially. Like, one rule I have is I call it like the Sprite rule. I say, listen, you can show up, you can come hang out, but you got to like at least bring a bottle of Sprite. Like, rip the label off and call it champagne. I don't care. Just bring something, because there's people that will come and just try to take value only. But you got to like weed those out and find the people that are willing to like bring value. The thing you said about the cool idea about glow sticks and the DJ and the lights, the fire dancers. So I did all that shit too.
Nice.
I did all that recently, like 3 months ago, actually, at a penthouse party. At a guy who actually is friends with the Evil Stifler, and I knew him through Jeff. He has like a penthouse we did there. So we all go way back. This guy, he hits me. I hit him up. I'm like, yo, I want to throw a party. Can we do it at your house? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? We should make it epic. I'm like, we should have a sushi party. I'm like, girls love sushi. We'll call it the sushi penthouse party. I like that. Sushi penthouse party. There's a lot of P's in there. I like that. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. I hang up the phone. I call him back. You know what? Let's have a Japanese model She comes out on a tray of like liquid nitrogen. She gets wheeled out, and she's got like leaves covering her body, and everybody like eats sushi out of her.
Yeah.
Off of her.
I was gonna
Everybody
say,
eats sushi off of her. I'm like, this is the idea. He's like, you're going a bit far, man. I'm like, no, it's more. I'm like, he's like, where are all these ideas coming from? Like, what is up with this? I'm like, oh, let me explain. Because I didn't explain it. I realized like I sound like a crazy person, but it's essentially what you did. I think there's something to be said. I call this like the law of core memories. And what you want to do is like say everybody's kind of basically tired of living a normal life. They all want to have the Instagrammable moment. Everybody wants to do something amazing, but they're afraid to do it alone.
ooh, right in the Valley Nuggets, bro.
Oh,
That goes right in the Valley Nuggets.
I've rehearsed this, if you could tell.
Everybody wants to do something amazing.
They're afraid to do it alone.
Yeah.
Create Instagrammable moments for them that lead to core memories. There's a lot to unpack there. So they want to do cool shit in their life. They're afraid to do it alone. You know, last time I was here in Praha, I did like I learned falconry.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, in Prague. There's this guy here in Prague that's like, he's like the Wim Hof of like falcons. He's like this old dude, and he's like, breathe in, breathe out. You call the falcon, it's your friend, your partners. It's like
That
this
is
crazy
so
guy.
sick.
And like we brought like a group of like 8 people to do it. Because I'm like, falconry, that's awesome. That's my wet dream. Like, I want to pretend to be a falconer, you know?
That is so sick.
And so everybody wants to do these things, but like, imagine you saw an ad for falconry, you'd be like, that's cool. You maybe take a screenshot of it.
Maybe I'll do it one day.
Maybe I'll do it one day, but I'm not going to go and do falconry. Like, what am I going to tell my friends? Like, what would I wear? What would I wear to do falconry? I'm going to do it on a Sunday? Like, and you just kind of forget about it. You don't do it. Everybody has these wishes that they want to do, but they don't fulfill them in any way. But when they hear there's a group of like-minded individuals going to do it, and a group that they know, they're like, I'm down. They're in. So everybody has that kind of like idea. And what you got to do is you got to make it like a core memory for them. Something that would look amazing on Instagram. You want to do the thing where everybody takes out their phone, and they're all like, this is awesome, while it's happening. And it doesn't have to be expensive. I have a buddy of mine, he has parties on a rooftop, and he just takes out like a little Roman candles, that's like $2 like fireworks, and everybody's like, yay, happy birthday, and everybody takes it and reposts it. And then it looks like his parties are amazing because he just has like a Roman candle thing off his balcony where they cost him probably like $20 for all of them, $2 each candle. So for you, it could be like the DJ, the glow sticks, like everybody's like, this is amazing. They all Instagram it and they tag you in it, and that's amazing. But what happens is when you create enough of these Instagrammable moments with everybody, the feelings that they have from that moment, they store them in their body and in their mind. Ooh. And then when they think of you, they think of those moments.
Ooh.
And they attach the emotion of those moments back onto you. So they're like, oh yeah, Max, he's amazing. We have so much fun. They go through their photo album. They see themselves with you. They think of the great time they had. They attach it to you. So what you really want to do, I think the art of creating a social life or social circle is to hack it by having these Instagrammable moments, having these core memories, having people relate these feelings of adventure and things they always wanted to do, but they were too afraid to. They link it back to you, and that builds a relationship. Like when you think back to, let's say, even me and you, bro, right? You think back to the times that we had. The last good time that we had, besides us going to Imperial Cafe for dinner tonight or whatever it's going to be, eating steak, I remember we all went and played paintball.
Oh,
and you killed everybody in paintball because you went to the army. And nobody else had army training, and you were like kicking over like the barricades, just shooting. I think you shot like Jeff or Nick in the head, and like that.
I was choking because he could do full body contact. I was choking Julian out from behind, and he tried to do the thing that you see in the movies, like throw me over his shoulder, like over his back. Of course, it didn't work, and then he tapped out.
Nobody knew you. Like you had like no fear, because you were in the army. Like you did that move, and I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, this guy actually has training. We're just pretending to be soldiers. Like he served, and like that's a core memory, right? Yeah. And it's like every relationship you have is a compilation or a playlist of core memories. We think back like, oh, we had that memory, we had this memory. I did Top Golf with Michael Sartain. Like the relationships are memories. So if you just stack these core memories, and then you have tight relationships with people. And I think that's what you want to do with your Instagram or your events you throw, is just create all this compilation of core memories together. And that's really impactful. But people don't think of it that way, and they forget. And they're just like, I should probably do like bottles at a club. That's not a core memory. The more strange it is, the more unique it is, the more niche it is, the better quality people you're going to have, and the more they're going to love you for it.
Dude, that's it.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle. Hey, if you
Drizzle,
guys
drizzle.
and girls, you dear listener, you just got inspired by that and you're like, hey, this Madison guy's pretty cool. I want to learn from him. How can they find you?
My address is, I'll be standing on the corner.
GPS coordinate.
Yes, at this moment. What's the address of the studio? You can come out. I won't be here. Instagram, DM me on Instagram, Madison Social Coach. That's the best way to have a conversation because you can find me on YouTube, but you won't be able to have a conversation. So DM me on Instagram, Madison
You've
Social
gone
Coach.
viral on Instagram lately, right?
I had a few things. I mean, I had some like meme stuff that I was doing that had a couple million. I had some other regular content that did like 350.
Yeah, you were blowing up the last couple of weeks. I'm like,
I got like 1,000 followers growing this week, so I finally hit the right algorithm. I was in algorithm jail.
Yeah.
They were like sending my stuff to like world's biggest muffin. Like that's where my traffic was coming from, and I was like, oh man, I'm in algorithm jail. But I finally hit the right algorithm. Finally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm refining the social circle content because I think it's so important that everybody has a fulfilling social life. I think they don't know how to. It's too hard, or they don't have the time for it, and they're disillusioned. They give up, and we don't have to be. And if we don't have a social life in our life, we're not happy. They say the number one thing for life to be content is, of course, having enough money so that you have money for an emergency, like 3 to 4 months saved up so in case something happens. You can take care of a loved one. But the other thing that brings substantial happiness is your relationships. And without a circular base of friends or relationships or people that you care about that love you back, your life will be unhappy no matter how much wealth or finances you have. So I think it's a very important thing. I try to preach that, you know. And that's the coolest thing that we actually also had as a crew back in the day. We had those
the moments we shared together, the dinners, us yelling, laughing the loudest in the entire 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
That's always the best. And also, like, I never forget, it was, I think, one of my first public speaking gigs.
Okay.
I was not dressed appropriately. You gave me your blazer, like your suit jacket to wear, and I was then wearing it on stage, and it was in one of my very first videos.
I don't remember. I remember that. I remember the city, but yes, I think
it was Montreal.
Oh wow, it was Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I was assisting Julian. There was like 250, 300 people, and he's like, "Do you want to go on stage before me, or just for like 20 minutes?" And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you must have been like in a ripped tank top.
Exactly, something like that.
A normal tank top you would have worn. I think you would have just done it. But I think you must have had like a ripped, stained tank top. And so you're just like, I can't use this video if it's stained and it has rips on it.
Soy sauce stains on it.
Yeah.
And you were there like you're right now, like
Just exactly the
super
same.
nicely dressed. He was like, take my suit jacket. I'm like, all right. And it's like a tad bit too big, but it looked really good on me nonetheless. Yeah. And I was wearing it. And like those are kind of the things we always remember. And then of course, us watching Jurassic World in Toronto in like 2013 or 14 or something.
Remember that? You had the shirt for it. Yeah, I remember you had the Jurassic World tank top shirt.
Yeah.
You wore that too. All of your best memories are in tank tops. You had the Jurassic World tank top. You wore that.
You still got the photo on my Instagram, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We watched that together, man, down with the Mosasaurus poster and stuff like that. Fuck. I think I must still have that on my gram, that very photo from like 2000 something. That's the crazy part. Like, when did you create your Instagram? Must have been 2013 or something.
Yeah, I think I just did it for fun. I was just doing it for fun. I was on inner circles back in the day, and I was like, just...
Yeah, like if you scroll through our Instagrams, you can literally see our entire journey from like zero. Like, I started this one in 2013. So that's like 11 years of content you can watch on my Instagram if you scroll down far enough.
That's wild.
Like this is like Cologne and like this is like Austria in 2018. That's so crazy. Like snowboarding.
You save all of them. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's all still there. I mean, some of the stuff that doesn't represent my brand anymore, I archived it. But like, there's like the first vacation I went on with my girlfriend to Koh Samui in 2016, man.
Wow.
December 2016. There's like photos that I shot of my girlfriend, like her posing for me. This is me with the man bun, creating the natural. This is me hanging out with Elliot Hulse and Greg O'Gallagher in freaking Miami. I was a vegetarian and we went to Brazilian barbecue. I was like the only idiot. That's like all world tour, like London, Hawaii. And that's us. Look at that.
What?
Look at this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jurassic World 2015. You and I.
Wow.
I look like a bum.
Let me see that. Let me see that.
I literally look like a bum.
I get this jacket to Maze after.
Yeah. Oh, you gave it to me.
Yeah, Maze just like found it in the house and started wearing it or something like that.
Of course, it's like, oh, this looks great
This
on
looks
me.
great. Wow. This video should this picture should be the thumbnail of the
Of the
podcast.
podcast. We'll
Yeah.
definitely
That's wild.
edit it in. I'll give it to my guys. Holy shit. Great. Back then I still used hashtags.
Hashtags are back now. Apparently, it's like 5 to 7 hashtags now to put you back into the right algorithm. Dude, I was in algorithm jail for like a year. It was like
Because you were a naughty boy. That's what.
because I pivoted too hard. That's what it was. I pivoted too hard. I went from like pure coaching to like here's a business thing, and like the algorithm didn't know what to do with me.
It hates
That's
that,
such history. And then like I just recently got out of algorithm jail. They're like, oh, now it's like I'm getting like nice like lady followers. Like I think like 15% of my followers in the last week have been like
really?
ladies. It's
Oh,
nice,
shit.
you know. So like I gotta wear a suit for the ladies.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's crazy though that hashtags are back, and crazy that we have photos that old.
Yeah.
Those core memories, bro. Like, because the thing about core memories too is like it's an amazing benefit. You can have the core memory, not see the person for like a year or two, see them again, and you're like, it feels like not a lot of time has passed.
Yeah. Just
You
like
know?
when you came into the door, man. I'm like, Madison, what's up?
Yeah. What's up? How's it going? Oh, yeah.
What's up? Let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy to know you. I'm very honored to have shared so much of our business history together. I'm very honored to still have you as a friend. And I think it's awesome that we fucking go out of our way to meet. It was the same with Jeffy and I. We were like, what city are you? And he just hit me up again. He's like, I'll be in Europe. Let's go do something. Like,
He's in Europe in like in a month from now, like right after me.
Yeah. And I say this every single time. I'm like, the older you get, the more difficult it becomes to stay in touch with your friends. The more effort you got to put in, but the more you get out. Like from a single, like we're gonna go for dinner now. Let's go grab some awesome burgers or steak or whatever, and that will be like that. Like back in the day, it's like, oh yeah, let's grab dinner, whatever. But now, like that dinner is so much more valuable because you had to like kind of work for it, and that I'm very, very grateful for. And for the listener to check out Madison Social Coach.
Yeah, Madison Social Coach on Instagram, Madison Social Influence on YouTube. I will start a new YouTube soon.
Ooh, nice.
Because it'll be better for social stuff and algorithm stuff. So I'll start a new one there. Yeah, if you're one of Max's guys, you do 7 figures a year in business, even like you do 5 figures a month. You want to work on some high quality, high value challenges you're having in your life. You succeed in one area, maybe your finances. You want to get it all together. Hit me up. I'm the only person that can guide you on this. I'm pretty much the original Black Hitch. I pretty much started the Black Manosphere, if that's such a thing. This doesn't come from me like testing stuff out. This is like tried and true strategies and techniques and stuff to get you what you want. And I implement it for myself. People implement it around the world. No reason you can't do it for yourself. And I think everybody deserves it, man. Everybody deserves it. And it's the only way. It's the only way. I fucking split the atom. Let's be real here. I split the atom. I did. When you see what comes out soon, bro, you're gonna be like, "What the heck?" Because like I've just flipped everything upside down on it.
All right.
Like I just gotta like release this stuff. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, insert that Star Wars meme of like, we will watch his career with great interest.
Oh, that's
Fucking
Mace
Palpatine.
Windu?
No, I think it's Palpatine's that we will watch something. I can't remember the exact wording, but we'll add that in.
And the law of two, the rule of two.
The rule of
Do it.
do it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on, man. And
Pleasure.
let's go grab some food, bro.
Yes.
GG.